Absolutely outstanding, Hutto. Really looking forward to a great contest against the young Brisbane Lions, Stuart.
And good for tall forwards. We've got champions at both ends of the ground. Legends of the game. Rewald at one end, Brown at the other. Let's hope after what was a magnificent clash at the MCG, we get a fiery battle here with plenty of big scores from big units like Jay Brown.
Yes, certainly going to be interesting to see how the two guns go, and certainly from the point of view of selling the game over here, it'll be terrific if those two can perform. But time now to join Craig Willis, of course, as the Anzac Day action continues, and we're ready now to go for the observance ceremony with Craig Willis.
A guard is with us in honour of the Anzacs on Anzac Day, and all those who followed them in the service of New Zealand and Australia. The Australian Football League, the St.Kilda and Brisbane Lions football clubs, and the Wellington City Council invite you to join in honouring the memory of New Zealand and Australia's servicemen and women who gave their lives for their nations. Our thoughts too are with those currently on active service. Would you please be upstanding for the Anzac observance. We welcome today Warrant Officer Class 2 Tama Andrew of the New Zealand Defence Force and President of the Royal New Zealand Returned and Services Association, Lieutenant General Don McIver.
E kore rātau, e koro heketi. Pēnei a tātou, ko mahu e nei. E kore hoki rātau, e noi kore. Aha koa, pēhea i nā āhuatano o te wā. I te hekena atu o te rā, tainoa ki te arana mai i te atu. Ka maumahara tonu tātou ki a rātou. Ka maumahara tonu tātou ki a rātou.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. We will remember them. lest we forget.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please remain standing for the Australian and New Zealand national anthems, to be performed this evening by Ms Murphy and Whenua Patua.
Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are young and free, with golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts, our beauty rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
So to New Zealanders, and we've seen both anthems sung both here and at the MCG today, which is a great touch and an honour for both these sides to play on this day. We saw the Saints very competitive against the Swans here last year, but ultimately go down by 16 points. They start favourites against Brisbane today. Danny Frawley and Jared Healy with us in commentary. Spud, first of all, let's have a look at the Saints.
I'm really looking forward to that great win last week against the Bombers. Have a look at that goal line. Delaney and Bruce have been real surprise packets, but Nick Riewoldt, the number 12, he's the number one ranked forward in the competition, averaging 20 disposals, 11 marks. And Lenny Hayes was 34 years old last week and had a season high 32 disposals. Then you go down to the youngsters there, Dunstan and Jack Billings. Wasn't he terrific last week for all the Saints supporters? 19 disposals. 84 efficiency. Jared.
Well, we know the Lions haven't won a game, but they've made 5 changes and they've got some good names in. Raines had 30 on a wing last week. Expect him to add to their midfield. Hanley, he's a gun. We know that. Merritt comes in. He'll probably play forward, help out in the ruck. Green and Polkinghorn, they add some spice around the goals and through the middle. Surprised Maloney not playing, but when you look at this list, they still rely very heavily on former captain Jonathan Brown. 250 games last year, celebrated with 4. If he can kick 4 tonight, Raines can add to the midfield, drive Adcock and Co can hold down the Saints back half, then forward half, then they are a chance to knock off the Saints for their first win. But as we know, Spud, they are in pretty good shape right now, the Saints.
Well, they are, led by Nick Riewoldt, as we talked about. He's the equal leading goalkeeper, 17 goals, 5. Joel Patfull normally gets Nick Riewoldt, and as Merritt goes forward, that'll be interesting if you get Brown and Merritt kicking a few goals, and these conditions are absolutely ready-made for the Tools.
One man who starred in front of the goals for the Saints as well as the Swans and the Dogs was Barry Hall, and he'll be keeping a close eye on both those guns tonight. Baz?
Yeah, certainly will be. And I know we harp on Nick Riewoldt, but we have to, because he looms as the most dangerous player on the field tonight. There's no doubt about that. The 3 games that the Saints have won, he's been best of field in dominant performances, and he knows how to play this game. He had 23 possessions, 13 marks and 2 goals last time he played here. So it's pretty easy for the Brisbane Lions. If they can stop Nick Riewoldt, it goes a long way to winning this game.
There's one bloke I'm really looking forward to watching again, Spud. I've seen him in his first half dozen games, and that's Lewis Taylor for the Brisbane Lions. I think he's been a terrific pickup, young bloke from the Geelong Falcons. Was expected to go in the top 15 in the draft, somehow got out to 28. But he is a little ripper, and he could have a major bearing on this result, albeit in just his 6th game of football.
Yes, he certainly looks promising from what we've seen so far. Only 173 centimetres, explosive player.
Looks like Tom Curran is going to Rockcliffe, and we know Rockcliffe's a terrific player. He's a #1 ranked player at Brisbane, and had some good scalps, Tommy Curran, already with Heppel last week and Dangerfield. So another big ask from Tom Curran.
So the second ever Anzac Day match in Wellington in New Zealand gets underway in fine conditions. It's cool, it's a bit breezy. Hickey going up against West, and young Robertson getting it out, and Redden gets it into the 50. That's where it ends though. Sean Dempster, another All-Australian, still running around, of course, for the Swans, a former Swan, and running around still for the Saints. As Leicester, now Raines back in the team after 32 disposals, sheer weight of numbers in the reserves. Adcock, deep probing ball. Bruce, as we saw last week, interesting haircut with McGuan. And Geary, who's become a real fighter the last couple of years, leading the Saints small brigade back in defence.
I've liked the selection changes for the Brisbane. I think they've added a little bit of pace, Spud, and they've got a good running side here. They're going to have to match it for pace and run with the Saints, but this is a pretty good opportunity to do so with this group.
So Hickey works his way into the prime position. Follow-up work from West. Lions getting their hands on the ball at the moment, but as you can see, it's not going too far.
Yeah, Joel Patfull on Nick Riewoldt again, so he's going to have the skates on again. Nick Riewoldt, a warm-up. He's there for about an hour and a half, Hutto. He flew past us, give us windburn in the warm-up.
So boundary throw in, Hickey from behind, just fending it off. Montagna initially, and then Hayes. And eventually from Nunes and Geary. The Saints almost getting it into the forward 50, the forward half, but not for too long, as Raines was there to swoop and bring it across the ground for Paparone.
And that's why I think he's an important inclusion. He makes good decisions. They've been a bit unders as far as experience is concerned. I know that Justin Lepage is trying to build for the future, but you've got to have the balance right with experience.
And that ball landing just inside the chalk.
Good touch, kick for touch there, Darcy Gardner. Bit of a hard nut ball reports.
We saw a bit of that last week.
Leicester looks like he's got the job on Montagna for the Saints. So a big challenge for a bloke nearing his 50th game.
Robertson going all over the top of Montagna that time. In the back perhaps for Nunes. Not a lot doing so far in the opening minute and a half. As both sides just feeling each other out and
bit of a blood rule by the look of it.
Trying to just work out these conditions. Hawley, if we can bring you in, just in terms of the wind and so forth, what can you tell from down there?
Yeah, well, at the back of the oval, there's the bay, obviously, and there's a lot of wind coming off that. It actually gets in the stadium and swirls around quite a bit, so it's going to be inconsistent in terms of what it does with the football. There's no doubt about that, but it gets very, very swirly in here.
It's a small oval Gerard, you can see the 50 meets the edge of the square, just a metre in the gap there, just reminiscent of the SCG.
Yeah, pretty similar to the SCG. It's a good stadium, though. It's a good one to watch the game from, and the surface much better, 100% better on last year.
So hopefully we can see these teams get going and give the crowd, the locals, plenty of here having a look for the first time. A good display of our game. So far, no score.
A lot more experience into the Brisbane Lions lineup, as we talked about. Green, Hanley, Merritt, Rains and Polkinghorn. Over 600 games of experience. It was probably only 5 minutes against the Tigers last week where they got away from Brisbane.
And here's Reba up to take it on the wing. He'd had enough of waiting. Brings it into the 50 area, and it's a well-placed ball too. The impressive Nunes hitting hard towards full forward. Templeton is called in to go for the mark. Billings stayed down, and the experience of Adcock. Leicester, difficult. Oh, look at Hayes. Just sheer will and determination. Curran, the up and under. Stephen, and the mark's paid.
You heard that well, Stephen, didn't he? What about Lenny Hayes? Assault on the ball. 34 years of age last week. 32 disposals. Just built his game on unconditional at the contest, Lenny Hayes.
It's a wonderful example, isn't it, to these young Saints coming through, to have a bloke like Lenny Hayes still running around. And so far, it's been a terrific combination for St Kilda this season. The win tonight, and it's 4-2 through the first 6 rounds. Stephen leaves that well to the left.
No Schneider, no Armitage for the Saints, so coming into the season, I think most pundits were a little bit concerned about their midfield depth. They've pinched one back. Clint Jones has been let off the chain. He's had a really good season so far, so he's the bonus.
And Dunstan and leading the young group, Gerard, have been outstanding.
Been very good.
Here's Geary again.
He's been one of their best for the year, Geary.
Forced to get it back, and the Lions are able to keep it under control. Rockcliffe heard the call. Mays, we know he's a dangerous player. Not allowed to be on this occasion. Saunders put it straight to ground. Had to try and retrieve it, couldn't. Merritt. Hard yakka in there. As the numbers start to multiply.
At least the Wellington crowd are going to get a look at, the conditions last year, as we talked about, Joe, were very slippery. It was wet. Ball's going to be dry today, so hopefully we see some real highlights for the Wellington crowd.
Hanley brings it over the top. Aish. Jones had him completely wrapped up, and again there's no movement, so lots of players pushing up around the footy. The Saints have only got 2 or 3 players to the left of your screen at this stage, so everybody else in the back half.
They've got Jonathan Brown deep, so they're going to clean clearance here, the Brisbane Lions.
Interested in your thoughts at some stage, Spud, on Reece Stanley. He looks like he's on the cusp of really understanding what it takes to be a fully fledged senior footballer at AFL level.
Yeah, well, I know Aaron Hamill, the forward-line coach, has been doing a hell of a lot of work with Stanley. Had his best game of his career last week, 21 disposals, 13 marks. He needs to just be consistent in that area.
Here's Hanley feeding it in to McGuan, and he takes the mark.
Well, he's a good foil, Luke McGuan, isn't he? We know he can kick multiple goals in a quarter. And what he does, he attracts the ball and opens up a one-on-one for Jonathan Brown.
So Merritt starting forward as well, so they have gone tall-ish, the Lions, as we perhaps expected given their selection. So Luke McGuan had a pretty quiet start to his Brisbane career last week, just 4 disposals, didn't hit the scoreboard, played 105 games with Richmond and all, he's 27 years of age. He improves his angle slightly, but unfortunately it doesn't result in any positive result.
And well, as Barry said, there was a bit of a swirly bruise. It's not swirling that much.
No, that was a bit of a bent leg shot at goal, wasn't it? Tried to steer the ball through from that angle.
Well, they want Tom Hickey to come 100 metres back to take the kick, and we can see you in the background there, Baz. The wind's not all that bad to explain that kick.
No, that kick was a shocker. There's no excuse for that one. But as I said, it is very blustery. On one side of the ground it might be steady, the other side is blowing a gale, so it's very inconsistent.
Oh, Hickey decides to play on and turns it on for a big bloke, and a spearing ball to halfback. Farron Ray, possibly playing as well as he ever has, comes away from halfback, driving into the middle. Adcock, good preparation, body work, and it allowed the mark over the top to be taken by the dual best and fairest, Joel Patfull.
I think you're right on Farron Ray. He's playing great footy. He looks and sounds as if he's got a great relationship with the skipper, who I suspect has had a major influence on him. And Hickey's been a surprise for the Saints for a lot of people, but if you followed his work on the Gold Coast, it did look as if he was a young player, just needed a bit more time.
Plenty going on there as it comes away from Dempster to Saunders. Careful kick, was a positive kick. Nunes, does he get it into Revolt quickly? He's screaming for it, the skipper. He'll be screaming even more if they can't get it into him at all. Now he has to work to even get there at all. Seb Ross has to do a fair bit. Geary maybe held without it for just a fleeting moment. Seb Ross is... well, he's just about hatched it.
Well, it must be frustrating, Spud, if the recipient gets the kick, gets the ball in quickly, Jack Nunes, then the skipper's on his own. He's one out. It just takes an opportunity, and yet the delay, the look, looking for the absolute perfect pass, allows the Lions to flood back.
So free kick goes to Jack Redden. He's been another typically consistent performer. 23-year-old, beyond 100 games now for the Lions so far this year. Been excellent, and they've needed all the senior players up and about that they can.
Well, that's where they need Merritt, Brown, or McGuan. You know, they've got the 3 tall forwards. They're all camped back inside the forward 50, so they have to get a bit of connection, those 3 tall forwards for Brisbane, to compete with that long kick down the line.
Well, he's got no options to go back or midfield, so down the line it is, and he's always there.
Down to Revolt, and down he heads. Stanley has to really prop in the right spot. Well, it was interesting disposal from Ross. It ends with Montagna into the goal square. Trent West has that covered.
Good pressure there.
It's brilliant from Ross.
Yeah, Robertson, terrific tackle under pressure.
Now here's McGuan.
Good lead from Brown.
And it's a hard, long lead from Jonathan Brown. Josh Bruce got himself into the right spot there. Just the human blockage he was. And the ball goes over the line and out of bounds.
I think the wingman there for the Brisbane Lions just got to be aware that Brown, when he's on the lead, just try and
get out of his way.
Yeah, just work up the ground and then get back for the crumb.
Hickey again slapped it down, but Robertson and Leicester had their say. Rains hustles the ball onto the boot, gets to half forward. A bit of early defensive work from Delaney on Brown, enough to take him out of the picture. And the ball out of bounds.
Let's have a look at this good work from Seb Ross. Just nudges his opponent under the ball, doesn't give away a free kick, and then flicks it over the top. That was really intuitive football.
Leicester under the hammer. Webster, he knew his only way out was backwards. Geary running out of ideas. Handball towards the line. Here's Zorko. Keeping them guessing. Rains. Quick kick. Outstanding kick. Welcome back, Andrew Rains.
Well, they've made him work to get his position back, and I think he's been made to work as much on demographics as a side as anything else, just not wanting to have too many older players there, wanting to build for the future, but you've got to have competition and competitiveness in your side, and this bloke was really good last year. I was surprised he wasn't given more exposure early, but it's a good start in his first game for the year.
Yeah, I think Rains now is a wingman, so, which is good, starts as a tagger.
And you can tell by those shots there that everybody's just absolutely thrilled. They know that he's had to work hard. He would have been frustrated being out of the side, but 4 disposals early in the piece, he's away, and now the Saints have got a headache.
He played 18 games last year, primarily as a tagger.
He's one of the best taggers in the game.
His numbers were very similar to Crowley in terms of what the opposition was able to do against
Nick
him.
Robertson's now got the tagging role, so retraining Andrew Rains as a wingman, and if he keeps kicking goals like that, why not?
Curran, interesting kick out to Gwilt, and it came off, but only just. And then the next disposal, not great. So this is not a really good start.
They're getting back in numbers, Brisbane. I've been watching their midfield. They're working back hard, and the key is now to run forward when they've got the ball.
Adcock, he spotted something out of the corner of his left eye, or the left side. And it's Polkinghorn, another who's had to work hard through a bit of injury, but also he was outstanding in the NEAFL last week. Kicked 4 goals, had 4 centre clearances. That one scrubs over the line.
Well, he just put himself under a bit too much pressure. In defence of his decision, though, there wasn't anything up the ground, so he's waiting for something to present. Right now, Justin Lepage, he'd be wrapped. He knows he's right in this game. They've got a 5-point lead. They're looking good. They're connecting pretty well together.
What they're doing, Jared, they're putting a lot of pressure on St Kilda when they're getting the ball. St Kilda at the moment are going by 47% by foot.
And they're just hammering it forward there. Jones, here's Patfull, had the extra, and were able to use it well. That was Gardner. Getting it back over the top.
Nice kick.
prepared to go all the way back. Clark to centre half back to Pierce Hanley. Missed just the 1 week with a hamstring. It's very
dumb.
and that's going to be 50.
And I like the fact that they're using the corridor, Brisbane. High risk, high return. Yeah, that was just undisciplined play there. He was always going to mark the ball.
So it's Gardner.
Well reports he loves putting his head over the ball, Darcy Gardner. He won't mind that.
And Justin Leppich won't mind it either because he gets an opportunity to have a shot.
Yeah. But I think their work back behind the ball, Jared, has been terrific thus far at the start of the quarter, Brisbane midfield.
Geelong Falcons, he's just 18 years of age. He's a defender, known for his elite spoiling. Right now, though, he's trying to kick a goal and spoil the situation for the Saints. He can't. It's just a behind.
Is there a scoring end, you reckon, Barry Hall?
No, there's not, Danny. As I said, it's very inconsistent in which way the wind's blowing. It's just blowing all around the joint, actually gets inside and just swirls around, so it's pretty hard to predict.
Yeah.
Oh, he's taken the advantage. Wished he hadn't. Still might end well. Green, you can see he just had that time and he used it to most benefit.
Well, the ins, Jared, the ins for Brisbane are having an impact.
Yeah.
You've got Rains kicking a goal. Josh Green now getting into the act. And the clearance work, that's been their real positive thus far. 6 clearances to 3.
Well, there you see one of the deadly sins of footy. You take the advantage when it's no advantage. He was absolutely lucky that Green was there, and Green would be thrilled to get one away. Last time he was playing for the Lions a few weeks ago, he had a few shots. That one went through.
What a start from the Brisbane Lions here in Wellington. They've kicked the first 2 goals. And St.Kilda, who were able to slay the might of the Bombers last week, are right on the back foot. And there is Andrew Rains, leading all comers with 5 disposals so far.
Just harder at it at the present time. The Lions, they're connecting with each other pretty well. Unfortunately, a couple of slips and fumbles on that occasion, but when you've got blokes supporting, you can get away with the odd mistake.
I like the fact they're switching the ball in the back half as well, through the middle or out to the fat side.
And now Adcock, the skipper, almost within range. He's kicked it as long and as deep as he can. Zorko was looming. Nunes on watch, but he's watching at the moment because it's all Brisbane. Green out to Brown. I'm not sure that was actually designed for Rockcliffe. Clever back to Green. And somehow he stays the course. Can't dispose of it as cleanly as he would have liked. Delaney, Saunders, Saints really can't get any
Saints
flow
pressure
at all.
poor though, Hutto. Their pressure with the ball on the ball carrier is going at about 7 out of 10, Spud, and as we've seen right throughout the first 5 weeks of footy, if your pressure's not up at 95%, you are going to be in for some trouble.
No, it's the work at the coalface. They're first to the ball, Brisbane. There again, look at Jonathan Brown, centre forward, first to the clearance.
Hayes through to Stephen. We haven't seen that too much so far. But what we have seen is the harassment from the Lions. And again, it forces the error. And it opens things up. Mays, skillful player.
Great play.
Finds his man. It's Lewis Taylor again.
He's the one to look out for, Hutto. This kid is a star of the future for mine. You can just see Spud, he knew where the ball was. He was just timing his run. He knows he's going to find it. It's a great kick, by the way.
Kick. There was a future as well. James A started with that forward entry as well. So a lot of promise here for the Brisbane supporters watching.
He's the captain of Vic Country under 18s. And as Jared said, many thought he might have gone earlier, and he shows why. He drills the 3rd goal for the Lions unanswered.
Oh, this is a great start from the Brisbane Lions. They've had 9 inside 50s for 3 goals won. Just have a look at the run here from the bottom of the screen. You can just see here the switch. H gets the ball. Here he comes to the bottom of the screen there. Really hard running, opening up for the forwards. He kept his eye on the ball all the way. That takes a lot of courage to mark the ball when you're running with the flight of it, not knowing what's coming. That's a terrific finish. Really good start. They're really forcing the St Kilda into a lot of errors at the moment.
Let's head down to Barry Hall. You want to talk about the ruck contest so far, Baz?
Yeah, well, Merritt and West, they're pushing really hard forward, and they're just trying to test out the defensive side of the game for Tommy Hickey. So they've obviously indicated during the week that's a weakness for him, and they're pushing hard forward every time they can.
Well, right now, their defenders are under all sorts of stress because Redden sends Brisbane forward again. And the ball goes over and out.
Looks like Farron Ray is the loose player behind the ball, so that'll mean it'll be an extra up the other end, which normally it's taken from the skipper, Jed Adcock.
It's 4 inside 50, Spud, to 10. The body language, if we had an accurate body language meter, would have the Brisbane Lions up in the absolute ready-to-go area, and the Saints, they are just struggling to get out of their own way at the moment.
We're just on the back foot, and Brisbane, to their credit, they're on the front foot. They're doing all the attacking.
And Tanya hurried it onto the boot. A couple of one-on-ones, and probably not a bad result for the Saints at half-back. They've managed just a meagre behind in the first 18 minutes of action. The umpire hooks it back, and there's a whistle quickly. Everyone wants the free. 3 of them.
He won't be able to go long. He'll have to run it with position because Nick Grewald's got 2 on him, so they'll have to look for a shorter target here, the Saints.
And what the Lions are doing really well is blocking the exit players. You'll see them just close down here, concertina effect. This is the important kick. That's good defence. They've pushed them back. That essentially means they're just going to have to go down the line. They haven't been able to get a free player yet.
Bruce finds Dempster just. He marks, as you can see now, runs back into defensive 50 to try and get this switch. They have got some numbers on that side. They'll either use them or at least use their presence to try and move it cleanly. Let's see if they can achieve their aim. They've got it at half-back, but it's held up immediately. So Seb Ross doesn't have a lot of...
That's just great defence.
Yeah,
They just moved the zone from one side of the ground to the other. The Saints are right back where they started from. So they've taken a dangerous kick. If it breaks through, they're on. But once again, good defence by the Lions.
Ray had some good reserves behind. Bruce to the voice of Geary. Back out this side to Gwilt. Now he does have a target at half forward. The ruckman working hard, but let down by the skills that time with Gwilt.
What they're doing well, Jared, they're either tackling the ball carrier or corralling. They're forcing St Kilda to make a different decision when they've got the ball in their hands, and that's really good team defence.
So let's see if the Saints can get jolted into action here. All plaudits to the Lions so far. Ross.
Oh, big push.
In the revolt direction. Stephen looming. Polkinghorn decides to keep it in. Interesting decision.
Polkinghorn.
Robertson, Aish, and terrific tackle. Rounded up well by Jack Stephen. The boundary line was a friend of James Aish there.
Geez, you've changed your tune. If you had been coach, you would have said, take it over. That's a coach killer. Bring that back in and it goes through for a goal. You'd have been ripping your hair out.
Now, Revolt's certainly in for a tougher day than what we've seen so far. Patfull is a very accomplished defender. We know that. High ball, tough on the way out.
There's a really strong contest from the key forwards. Gwilt and Merritt then asking for the free kick there. Big Dan Merritt back from suspension.
Saints not really looking like it at this stage. Can change quickly. Tap down from West. Jones got it to Nunes, and this is Geary. It's the end of the 50 again.
Well,
Merritt just stole the march. Patfull stole the march on Revolt. Brings it out in front of Adcock, who arches the back at the right time, and the skipper. Commanding play out of defence. Probing ball, McGuan. Bruce went to ground, untimely. And it allows them to head forward again. Paparone, the initial handball, but it's coming back. Jones working well, Curran. And too wide, not even Nick Revolt's allowed to mark him a metre
really
over
good corralling.
the boundary. Back with Adcock, and he spots Ace, been able to sneak away to half-back.
It's amazing how the selection can create a lot of positivity though, Jared, with starting Merritt forward.
Yep.
It gives the midfield, the defenders, a sense of we can win this game.
We've got something there to kick to if we get it through. Saints need to respond. They need to respond in this quarter.
Hayes and Stephen were all on the right level, but unfortunately, the kick in from Jack Stephen.
Well, 48% by foot, the Saints. Not even 50% from ball use.
And they've, as a result, failed to score a goal. I'll get another opportunity potentially from this stoppage.
We know it is blustery out there, but it's just a real good sign of a young team for Brisbane Lions, putting a lot of pressure on the ball carriers.
So down to the last 5.5 minutes of the opening quarter here at Wellington. And it's been all the Brisbane Lions thus far. Jones for Hayes. You do get the sense the Saints are just starting to get a little bit more of the footy at least. Montagna slams it in there. So far, they've been steadfast, the Brisbane Lions, but they've got the extra number here to their advantage. Extra couple of bodies back there.
Yeah, well, Adcock's had a really good last 5 minutes, just holding up the tide, but they keep on coming here, the Saints. They need some of their better midfielders to start getting the ball, though, the Saints.
And again, into the hole, and this time Stanley couldn't hug it in.
There is again the extra, Jared.
Adcock, Lewis Taylor, couldn't see off the tackle. Seb Ross against Patfull. Hayes there trying to pry it out. That's a bit of a lucky one. That's not so good, though, for St Kilda.
Yeah, that doesn't look good. Let's have a look. He's on the tackle. Oh, yeah, when he's landed, his arm was still involved in the tackle, so he's stretched those shoulder ligaments.
Well, Good got much too close to the man on the mark there and sprayed the kid.
Could even be dislocated that shoulder.
He's in a lot of pain. Let's have another look. It's when he's landed. Oh, yeah.
Eli Templeton's made such a big impression, young man from Burnie, through the first 5 weeks of the season. Seb Ross, Adcock. It's all St Kilda here. Darren Ray stationed at half forward. Revolt in a huge crowd at full forward. Not really demanding the footy. Stanley leads up to the 50. Ray confused. You can see so many Brisbane jumpers. He's forced just to change it up and make them come at the footy. Or Revolt fell over. They all fell down.
Oh, no.
He's gone down.
His left knee there.
He has gone down. And he gets up limping, Revolt. Disastrous start for St Kilda. Let's hope he's okay. Oh, that's a precarious kick. Well done, Reece Stanley, to get a hand in at least. A fumble from Curran. There's a free kick, and it's a St Kilda free kick.
Yeah, after the handball, I think just hanging on for too long.
Well, we know he's got chronic problems with the knee, so I think just the fact that he slipped. Have another look here. He goes to launch and he just loses his footing.
Yeah.
And that right leg would appear to as if it's come up sore. Or is it the left? Left is the one he's had the chronic issue with.
When his teammate landed on it, Jared. That was okay.
So it's Luke Dunstan to shoot for goal. He's kicked 3 goals, 2 in his early stages of his very young career, and he's put that through when it counts.
For the last 5 minutes, about all the entries, the Saints, they've had 8 inside 50s to 2, so the extra's starting to play dividends there. Just a bit too long on the tackle there. Didn't seem a lot in it, but it was probably enough there to say that Jeff Adcock, who's had a terrific start to the game.
It's a tough one, isn't it? Because he's got the ball when you apply the tackle. The ball gets knocked out. He's falling to ground himself. It's difficult to know whether or not you can let him go.
So Revolt staying out there. Baz, what about an update on young Eli Templeton?
Yeah, Templeton's gone straight down the race, boys. So, and he was actually had that arm in a sling with his jumper. So definitely a dislocation. I'll keep you posted.
Okay, Hickey getting it down. You can see Seb Ross going to work Stephen. They're starting to get a feel for it now, the Saints. Nunes, though, was treacherous there. Lost his footing. And Zorkos sending Brisbane very deep for Merritt. Wilt did what he had to do. Down to Dempster. Saints defence working overtime at the moment. Here's Green tracking the footy. Rains in the right spot. Sets it up to go again. Merritt will jump. He'll try to. He did. Left high, Zorko, where a good small man should be. Now McGuan to try and compete. Merritt crunched the pack, and he just about got boot to ball then, Big Sauce.
Great
Merritt.
3 efforts there from Merritt.
Yep, fantastic effort.
Completed in the air, then the secondary one, and nearly got the soccer goal.
No doubt he feels he owes them after the 2 weeks that he missed from suspension. Montagna to himself from the back pocket, just abbreviates the kick for Revolt, but didn't take enough off it. Here's Hanley, and now Farron Ray reading the incoming ball pretty well. So the Saints have steadied a little.
Yeah, they've got some firepower up forward, though, at the present time. The Lions, we see Rains, we know what he can do with the ball. He's an experienced player. But Zorko, the likes of Zorko, who has had a quietish first half, but when the ball's in his first quarter, when the ball's in his hands, things do happen around those goal mouth.
It wasn't the greatest kick up to the wing. Patfull was well and truly onto it. Had the foresight to get there. Now Hanley. Angles it into the middle dangerously to Robertson.
I like the way they've tried to hit the corridor up though.
Worked the angles brilliantly there. And let's go back down to Barry.
Yeah, the sub has been made, so no good for Templeton. Savage comes on.
So Shane Savage, who born in New Zealand, moved to Australia when he was 2.
I think the pressure is what is going to be addressed first and foremost by the St Kilda camp. It looks to me, Spud, as if it lacks that little bit of fanaticism.
Well, Redden, and that's a very timely goal for the Brisbane Lions. 2 minutes out.
Right on cue, Jared. The lack of effort there, they just waltz through with 3 or 4 handballs. When St Kilda get the ball, have a look at this, it's a perfect bit of play. Just on the back foot there, not a lot of effort there from Seb Ross. A couple of St Kilda players jumping in the air. There's just no intensity in their defensive mechanisms at the moment. They need to take a leaf out of the Brisbane Lions books. Their corralling and tackling has been absolutely terrific. So for mine, the Brisbane Lions, they deserve this lead, 4-1 in the first quarter. Well, they've got a game on their hands, the Saints. They're expected to have a pretty easy start. But the Brisbane Lions, it's been fantastic to watch at the moment, their assault on the ball.
Stephen gets them out of the middle. Confirmation of that sub we were chatting about before. Stanley down to Jones. We need to see the St Kilda response. Jones knows that. Montagne's got a yard. Can he preserve it? He can. And he used it for full points for St Kilda.
Desperately needed that one. Good work to get the ball forward. And Montagna, who has been reasonable in this first quarter, he gets on the end of it. It was a great kick forward, though, by Stephen.
Really good attack from Rewald. I think that the St Kilda supporters would have loved to have seen that. He flew at the ball. Jones just hurried the ball forward, and just the Brisbane defence there just spectated the ball for a split second, which allowed Montagna to get behind the ball there. Ryan Lester. Good start of the game.
Game's starting to open up now.
Yeah, because an enormous effort by Clint Jones. He's had a terrific season. I think Aaron Hamill needs to have a bit of a chat to how Reece Stanley's going about it. He just seems a bit lost at the present time. He's got to get that gear stick in, absolute top gear, and get himself up and about, I should say.
Taking the same number of contested marks as Nick Rewald this year. Reece Stanley.
He hasn't looked like it tonight.
No,
I think that's one of the fundamental reasons they're just battling a bit.
I guess there's not as much space with a short ground. There's a turnover. Comes back to Savage. His first kick on home soil is smothered.
It looks like Clinton Jones has gone down in the forward line to man up Jed Abcock. So he's been the player of the quarter. The Brisbane skipper. It has. And Clint Jones is now trying to put the clamps under him, which is a pretty good move from Alan Richardson, St Kilda.
They put another one down there now in Merritt, and his man is sort of half gone back. It leaves it very open as Brisbane surge on the counter. And Robertson, young man but prepared to take on the responsibility, carries it and kicks it. Brown got squashed. Green was the last man standing, and he almost had the last laugh, but not quite.
Well, that was one for the coaching manual at quarter time when you got 2 Saints players running and they both go to ground, both go to the contest and leave Green out the back. That was lucky not to concede a goal there.
Careful kick in, marked by Dempster.
Just the desperation Jonathan Brown showed there to win that ball epitomised the way Brisbane have played in this first quarter.
Kick to Revolt amongst 4 lines. Montagna latches on, but too hot. No, in the back.
The old danger man off the bench. Good, a good interchange, that one.
Gets it back from Dunster to Montagna. His 10th disposal was a good kick to Stanley. He's got a man in the pocket.
Billings.
And he sees Billings. The Lions choosing not to go to him.
Center kick.
That's the Nick Rewald factor. They thought, just assumed the ball was going to the superstar, Nick Rewald, who's had a fantastic start to the year, and you double team him, and that's really good play from Billings to find some space.
Well, the siren's going to sound here, and it's going to be a mighty tough kick. From just inside the 50 on the intersection of the boundary. Young Jack Billings, we saw him last week though. Wouldn't the Saints love it on the siren, but unfortunately it's going to be behind, so they all help, but the lead is with the Brisbane Lions, and it's a couple of goals at quarter time. They are the team that have really taken the initiative in this game, and they lead by 13 points, 4-3-27 to 2-2-14 in Wellington on Anzac Day. Dislocated shoulder. He's been subbed out, and Shane Savage comes in as the sub, and the Brisbane Lions lead by 13 points here in Wellington. Really, they've taken the initiative right from the start, Jared, and the Saints have made some fundamental errors.
I think Hutto, they've been led well by Jed Adcock. Andrew Raines has been excellent. But around the ground, I think they've just lacked a little bit of composure, a little bit of intensity. We did make mention of a potential goal for Green. Have a look at this for a mistake. You've got two Saints blokes both going for the same ball, leaving Green out the back. Now, they got away with one there. They were lucky to do so. But they need just to tidy up in a lot of those defensive areas. But
down to Barry Hall now.
Yeah, thanks, Hutto. Well, what was the plan going in? Because it seemed to work beautifully.
Yeah, certainly wanted to get our contested footy up and make sure we're in the game a lot earlier, in which way that we've done this first quarter. So we're in the game, and we haven't won too many first quarters this year, so it's important that we're thereabouts.
And what was the message?
Yeah, again, contested footy again, good start. Basics, fundamentals, keep doing them well.
Good luck.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, they've definitely done well in the contested possession area, the Brisbane Lions, but it's also been their corralling. Yeah, the tackles are very even, but it's the pressure, the referred pressure when the St Kilda look up. They've normally got a Brisbane Lions player coming at them and forcing St Kilda to kick it over their fingernails.
Even numbers in the forward line now for St Kilda. You talked about that before, Danny.
And they've gone with Reece Stanley in the ruck. Vickery behind Riewoldt, so they've changed their mix-up in the forward line as well.
Hayes couldn't get the clean release, and it opens the door for Redden. And look at the run from Adcock. He's a man inspired tonight, the skipper. Deep kick and good mark from Dempster.
Well, we know he's very good at that, Sean Dempster.
To repel quickly for St Kilda. Goes super short. Had some instructions with it for Jimmy Webster. Says go along to the outer side now. Hickey and Stanley both flying. And as you mentioned, a good proactive move to get Stanley up into the play. It looks like he's going to push back to the forward line now.
Yeah, I don't mind that, but also need to separate a little bit with Stanley and Hickey both going for that one ball. One should have thought defensive play there.
Hinkley brings it to ground. Hickey brings it to ground, I should say. Here's Gardner. Works it back for Mays. Rush kick to half forward away from Taylor. Gathered by Raines and gives it to Taylor. The legs are pumping into Leicester. They've got to the 50 and Zorko. Jonathan Brown was coming out to take the mark, but Zorko was there for him.
Quick ball movement again from Brisbane Lions. It's just quick hands, running with the ball. You know, normally it's a handball out the back when you're under pressure, but the momentum going forward is catching St Kilda defence on the back foot.
Well, it was a great pick-up by Andrew Raines, but resulted in this little chip kick. You're not allowed to do that with a big skipper behind you, so he's now taken on responsibility.
So Zorko only kicked 2 goals, 6 so far this year, but that all changes right now as he puts through Brisbane's 5th goal. The Lions 5-3-33. They lead the Saints 2-2-14.
Former skipper, in fact, Jonathan Brown. But that was a great pickup. That's what created the goal. Whips it out to Taylor, who's really sharp. And then a pretty good kick coming into the middle of the ground by Ryan Lester, who looks a pretty intelligent player. Been focused on him for the last couple of seasons, and he just slowly improves with each match.
Darren Geary, what a task he's got on the ever-dangerous Dane Zorko. So Brisbane beginning this second term well. The umpire's gone down, Scott Jeffries. Players all stay up. Shane Savage comes crunching into the picture.
Oh, well done.
Montagna, Stephen a fumble. Leicester to pounce. Hard to get real clean possession out of there. Raines, though, shows them how to do it. Back to Adcock. Uses the big bloke on the way, posting up. And now Leicester. Ball falling a little short. Dempster read it well. Just couldn't complete the job. Here's Hanley doing a bit of dance this way and that. Still not out. Hanley gets a little handball away. Paparone looking for a free. Nothing doing. Geary momentarily legged. Lenny Hayes to try and rectify the situation for the Saints. Lots of handball. Wilt's had enough. Kicks it to Riewoldt. And a one-on-one with Patfull. Patfull does well. He's doing well.
He's doing extremely well.
Mick's getting frustrated.
Well, that should be a free kick to Brisbane here, to Rockcliffe. It was just silly from Tommy Curran. We know he's a hard nut, Tom, but you just need to play the percentages on that occasion.
He's kept Rockcliffe to just 4 disposals so far. Thumping ball into the 50. Geary has got it covered, and it's over and out.
Well, they won the first 3 clearances, Brisbane, so whatever Justin Lepage said at quarter time, they've really rewarded him. They've switched on Brisbane, no doubt about that.
It doesn't look like he's enjoying it too much, Justin Lepage. He would give anything for a win tonight. High contact on Redden.
Yeah, well, they're first to the ball. And, you know, if you keep getting first hands on it, you're either going to win it or get a free kick, as Redden did then.
Set sail towards full forward. McGuan, he was flying. It's all St Kilda once it hit the turf. Here's Jones. Powerful handball. Nunes needed an accommodating bounce. Didn't get it. Didn't care. Just charged on through.
How good was Darcy Gardner there?
Stayed with him every step of the way. Here's Zorko scooting through. Back to Rains. Been a terrific addition tonight. Into half forward. Bit of a blind kick that time. Dempster brings it to a halt.
He's a bit of a worry for the Brisbane Lions at the moment, Dempster. He's an impact on the last 3 entries.
Yep, he's been
spoils
excellent.
and marks.
But we've highlighted Rains a couple of times. That's the first time he's made a mistake with ball in hand. He's a real worry for the Saints right now. His damage is becoming... He'd almost be BOG in this stage, Spud.
Yep.
Great kick from Montagna to get it all the way to Lenny Hayes. And he's got Savage working at half forward for him. That's where he's headed. Asked a fair bit of him. Gardner's there as well. Savage just had to split the contest. Clark comes in for the Lions and takes it over.
Let's have a look at the attack and the ball here from Gardner. And it was legal, and both players going hard at it, and the second effort again. So he cops a hit and then a bump. That is, he doesn't get a stat for that, but that is really good play from the youngster there.
Lions lead by 19.
And already you see a player like that, Jared, Darcy Gardner, you know that he's unconditional in all areas. Winning the ball and his defensive mechanisms.
Well, collectively, they're standing right up to the Saints at the present time. The Saints came at them early in this quarter, but they've withstood and they're looking pretty sharp.
Hayes hands it straight back to the opposition. Rockcliffe, Brown, Gwilt, close to some interference. Here's Webster. Got it to Gwilt, ran into a little bit of interference there, and the ball goes over and out.
Who's going to lift the Saints here, Spud? They need a couple of their senior players and a couple of their younger players just collectively to just get the job done a little bit better than they are at the moment.
West slapped it down. Jack Stephen.
Stanley re-rolled at the 2. And, you know, Jack Stevens, we know he's a really good ball winner there, but he's got a close tag and Nick Robertson. So Rewalt, Stanley were terrific last week, especially Stanley taking the 13 marks.
Now it falls for Lenny Hayes. Got a quick call from Savage. Tried to sum it up on the angle. I think the kick went even better than he could have possibly imagined.
Go long to Stanley.
Finds Billings. Stanley comes up trying to call for it. Didn't have any tall targets long, but he did have one in the pocket. And he's drifted all the way down from defence.
There he is.
You call it, Spud. And Sean Dempster, who's had a couple of wobbly moments in games this year, is right back to his very best form. 12 possessions at this stage. He's had 6 marks, a lot of intercept marks, and this one inside forward 50.
Oh, there's a blue one on the wing.
Hall.
Oh, that's...
We'll go to Baz in a minute after
Surely
this
you're not
goal.
blaming Baz, eh? There's a beautiful kick at goal just when the Saints needed it.
Well, much needed goal there for St Kilda, and Sean Dempsey's doing the lot. He's had the last 3 touches when Brisbane have gone forward, and then he was the extra player. And you just see the long kick here. Really good play from Billings. Have a look at the vision here from the youngster. He's having a look around. He's looking for a one-on-one. There's nothing on.
And there's his man, Adcock, on the mark.
Then he looks out to the fat side. And that's a really good play for the extra man to get back and get into a dangerous spot when they've got the ball.
What was going on the wing down there, Barry? Or were you got an update on... We're just watching Eli Templeton being loaded up, looks like, into the ambulance.
Yeah, that certainly doesn't look good. But it was Robinson and Curran. They were coming off the ground, and there was a bit of a dust-up. The crowd loved it.
They certainly did, Baz. The kick very deep from Dunstan. Mays, who seems to be spending a lot of time in defence, takes the mark.
Well, they named him at centre-half back in the paper side, but I thought it was just the usual coaching disguise. But he's, as you said, Hutto, he's been down there. He's a sharp player.
Yeah, I think it's Merritt and Mays. That's been the swap, hasn't it?
Kick goes to halfback Dempster. He's inspired footy.
This is a great start to the second quarter.
That's what kicking a goal does to you defenders, Spud. He's bouncing up, kicking it deep. Now, can they get a mark inside the 50? They've been few and far between so far.
He's at the 4 marks in this second quarter. 2 forward and 2 back. And he's the extra player. So now the Brisbane Lions just need to make sure that whoever's on him have a defensive mindset when the ball goes in the air.
So Saints pressing here. They've kicked the last goal. They can't snatch another one, at least not yet. Adcock. Oh, Dempster. He can do it all at the moment.
Yeah.
Almost the mark to Ray. Now Rockcliffe.
Well, he's tried to shrug the shoulders. This will be interesting the way the umpire calls that. No prior opportunity.
NP, Jared. No prior.
NP.
So Templeton in there in the ambulance. Ray. Patfull having the rounds. Polkinghorn, clever, although Savage was never going to let him get away. Gee.
That was a great tackle. You've got to reward the tackle on that, I would have thought.
Revolt! It's as hard as ever. When we get an opportunity,
Dangerous handball.
There's a few tackles to have a look at again.
Oh.
Zorko, fumbling, quick kick. Now, so it was come off a Lion boot.
Saints fans would be hopeful that this intensity, led by Savage, run down. Not sure why that wasn't a free kick. And it was duplicated by another couple of Saints, which set up half an opportunity at goal, ended up being scrubbed
Well, they had
through.
prior opportunity because there was no handball, no kick, so I'd have to reward the tackle there.
Adcock, Saints looking to have more purpose now. Geary walked over the line. There's a little bit of feeling, a little bit of niggle out there as well.
Right now they've got the captain really locked down. Nick Riewoldt is unable to have an impact on this game, and he's the one that has been leading the charge for them right throughout the season. At the moment, they've got Merritt, who's pushed back down onto him. So they're going to triple team him, I suspect, Spud, through the night, so his athleticism doesn't wear down one man.
There's a super
It is,
athlete.
in fact, Patfull.
Yeah.
Hickey, West. Stephen starting to get a run at the ball at some of these stoppages. Still not quite back to his best. Of course, coming back from injury, came back earlier than people thought. Had 20 and 23 disposals since his return. You can see working his guts off out again. Throw in, West. Green helped it on its way. Up to meet it, Taylor. Green almost going too fast for his own good, but eventually tucked the footy under the wing. Now Josh Bruce got the bounce he was after. Turned, and then Geary made it okay, although his handball didn't determine any favours to Curran. So they're not really helping each other out, the Saints, at the moment. Geary, well done, Jones. That's a great contribution. Billings free under all of that.
That was a great effort by Billings. That was a really good effort. He committed to win that ball, and he's dragged a free kick.
That was a beauty. He said he had 19 disposals last week, kicked 2 goals, 1, and used the ball extremely well.
That was just in his second game. Now Montagna plants it up for Hickey. It gets all the way through. Jones, an initial fumble. He recovered well. Farron Ray couldn't squeeze the kick out, as you saw Jones. Up the stairs and around the corner. High ball, Revolt against 2. Thumped away again, and Mays sweeping in that last line.
Just not getting half opportunities and turning them into the goals. The Saints, they've done really well to just block down that time.
And that's a real win there
Mid-fly
for
smother.
Brisbane. No, that's a real win. They're under extreme pressure down there. They get the ball to the wing. Jonathan Brown, 2-on-1, forces a boundary throw in. They're really going to school on Riewoldt in the air. He's competing with 2 Brisbane players.
Montagna, Zorko. So we've almost reached the midpoint of this second term, and the Saints with just 3 goals. Hayes uses Delaney to get himself into the clear. Zorko, annoying.
Perfect tackle.
Brilliant stuff from Dane Zorko that time.
We've seen a lot of that from Lenny Hayes selling the dummy, but Zorko would have none of it. Just watch the hips all the way through on that tackle, Zorko.
Sails are down.
So Pierce Hanley, great powers of recovery to come back from a hamstring problem in missing just a week. Zorko. Now Jonathan Brown's had it.
You can go here.
Well, he's into the ruck, so he's just pushed forward now. He's a loose man, essentially.
Looking for Merritt.
Oh, hands in the back. Free kick to Taylor. against Nunes.
Let's take a look. There was the shove.
It wasn't hands in the back, it was a shove. That's what it was. That's fair enough.
Young Taylor certainly made sure the umpire saw it, which again is fair enough. So he's on the runway, he's already kicked a goal. It's left, does it work back enough? No, nowhere near it.
Brisbane have had the 8 inside 50s this quarter for 1-1. St Kilda had 6 for 1-1. So both defences well on top in the second quarter.
Good zone from the Lions too, because Montagna forced to go super short into that back pocket. There's Delaney. Back to Montagna now. Just tries that outer side. Needed a good crisp kick up to Josh Bruce, who left it behind. And the boundary line is a welcome ally at that stage.
Worked extremely hard there, Josh, to get to that ball, and then just let it slip through his fingers. He led up and back and then double back again, and then unfortunately just watched the ball slip through his fingers.
Jack Stephen, again they ride him closely.
Hasn't had a touch this quarter, Jack Stevens, so they're doing a lot of hard work on him.
Leicester feeding it through to Rains. The next target fell over, but Green didn't. Sweeping kick into the square.
Good decision.
Ooh.
Just got a hand on it.
He had a nervous moment or two then, did Sean Dempster.
Was it that man Dempster again?
Yep. So the margin stands at 14. Oh, Dempster. He almost forced the ball up. Instead runs into the back pocket. And that is not a great kick. Very ill-directed, straight onto the chest of Patfull. And he's going to go all the way up to about 40 from goal, hoping that someone can jump up and claim the mark. Saunders, Dempster, Montagna. Misses the target. Lewis Taylor.
Well, he did everything right, bar get the connection with the foot right. But they are fumbling at the moment, the Saints, Spud. The Brisbane Lions haven't won a game, and yet they're showing St Kilda how to play footy just at the present time. Much cleaner, much sharper.
Well, Dempster and Geary are really doing well for the Saints. It'll be
They're holding back the tide at the moment.
They are.
So there's Geary's kick up to the wing. Revolt, but Merritt beat him to it with a fierce punch away. Montagna. And Rains. Here's Leicester as the third up. Flicked out the side. Opportunity for Rockcliffe. And Brisbane seem to be spending an eternity kicking the ball into the forward pocket. Just been touched over and out. So 9 minutes still remaining.
Well, they've had 9 clearances to 4 in this second quarter, but unfortunately it hasn't come on the scoreboard for Brisbane this quarter.
Hickey down to Hayes. Things open up. That's just going to miss the Revolt target. Seems to have been the story so far for the Saints. Dunstan working overtime. Clark was onto it. He rushes the kick into half forward. Leicester fell through to Redden. And now Leicester again. He's got options galore inside. Picks the wrong one. And Bruce wades on through, takes the mark and spots the long sleeves of Jack Stephen.
Now, it was well read from Bruce, but Luke McGuan was the option. That was his direct opponent. He was running back towards goal.
Farron Ray working hard along the wing to provide an option. Oh, and Stevens kicked that out on the floor.
Well, their team defence has been absolutely superb, Brisbane. It's created lots of problems. They're a little bit fragile in the mind at the present time, St Kilda. And the zone pressure and just the strategy of getting blokes in the holes and picking up loose players has really created problems for St Kilda.
The voice was good there. It got Clark out of trouble. He wasn't aware that Nick Revolt was closing. Gardner tries his hardest to hit the target and he finds young James Ace. Super impressive.
Is it just me, Spud, or does it look like the Saints are slipping over more than the Brisbane Lions?
There's no doubting the coaching staff will ask the question on that.
Ace, look at West from the
he's marked
side.
it. Well, there it is, just going at the high ball, the low ball, the ball in the air. They're just launching themselves at any contest, Brisbane. You know, when you see a quarter of football where Jack Stevens, the best and fairest man in St Kilda, had one touch and it goes out of bounds on the full, That'd be the concern. But have a look at that, the launch. Okay, there's 2 players flying, but that's what you want.
But he's hitting the pack like he absolutely means it.
Yeah, the only man who was a bit annoyed there, I think, was Daniel Merritt, who thought he was going to take the mark. But as you said, a great sign. Team showing their intensity and desperation to help the cause. And West goes back and coolly slots Brisbane's second goal of the second term.
Well, that was a lot better entry. The previous entry, they went short and Bruce marked it, so they went long to a contest. And when you've got an even competition, just have a look at this entry here. Now, Luke McGuan's making space. Saunders over the top, so it should have went over the top to Luke McGuan. But this is a lot better, as you can see, another angle there. So just had to wait, and Lester was the guy that kicked it. But this is a lot better kick here. And Trent West, that's a magnificent mark. Really good mark there.
On occasions at Geelong, Trent West showed that he could push forward and take a mark. Even in a few finals, he was able to do that. And relishing the role as the number 1 ruckman in the absence of Leuenberger. Now, squirts back out to Hickey. Hayes is trying. You can see that he's trying to use all his experience and skill to generate some footy for the Saints, but it keeps coming back the other way. West heaves it deep. Brown and Delaney. Delaney's got the drop of the ball. Could have been a free, not paid. So now the problems galore for the Saints. Zorko. You see the ricochet. He's not finished with it yet, Zorko. The call from out the back. Aish. Quick left foot kick. It's drifting. Brown. Oh,
it's over the top.
It's a brilliant non-mark from Brown.
Well, it's running for them. They're making their own luck at the present time. And inside 50 stat Spud tells it all at the present time. They are in enormous trouble here, St Kilda. The Brisbane Lions have got the momentum and they're starting to get a taste of what they can now believe could be their first victory for the season.
Well, they've had 14 entries to 6. The clearances are 10 to 5, and now they're getting reward the last couple of minutes for their efforts.
James Aish, quality young player, averaging 16 disposals. Played in back-to-back flags for Norwood. He was picked 7. The start of the season must have seemed pretty trying for him, even though no doubt enjoying his opportunity at the senior level. But today, the Lions are right on. Hayes gets it in quickly. Now Montagna lurking in that pocket, trying to work in with Stanley. Clark doing well to defy the situation. And again, they're able to bring it out of defence through Mays. Paparone and Taylor combining. Robertson, Zorko. Brisbane full of running at the moment. Polkinghorne feeding Hanley. And finally, the releasing kick from Mays, who's gone all the way up from the back pocket. And this man, Green's proving a real menace also.
They're in, Spud, at selection. They're winning this game at selection at the present time. Green and Rains have been 2 of the very best. We know that Merritt's played his role.
Brown again, Paparone's there, sweating on Bruce. Stripped him of the footy. Brown almost threw it out. Zorko once, Zorko twice. Merritt! Wow!
Number 3, Jared. And it started selection, you talked about it. Merritt going forward gives all the midfield and defenders confidence to say, if we can get the ball in there, we're going to get a strong contest. And at the moment, St Kilda on the back foot. Have a look at the St Kilda defenders spectating here.
They're flat, Spud.
And Brisbane Lions are hunting impacts.
They've fallen for the 2-card trick, whether or not it's just over-celebrating last week's victory against the Bombers, underestimating the Brisbane Lions. But they are in a terrible position right now.
They've kicked the last 3 goals here, the Lions. 4 in all for the quarter, 8 for the match. And the margin is out to a game-high 32 points now as we get closer to half-time. Still 5 minutes of playing time remaining. But the Saints have got to get a move on. Curran to half-forward. Here's Billings to give a bit of skill. Hayes had the experience. Back to Hayes again. Had to rush the kick onto the boot. And the best he could do was a minor.
Terrific effort.
Much better, though, wasn't it, for the Saints?
Well, that's what you want. Your leaders assert themselves.
They've been so good for the Saints this year so far. Adcock up to the wing. Lester with a couple of grabs. And as Jared said, really maturing as a player.
I like the way they've been on their toes, the Brisbane Lions. Even when they've got the ball, they They turn around quickly. They're looking for any free option. Plenty of spirit out there.
Jack Redden lofts it up to the 50. Bruce playing in front. All lines at the back. Ray spinning, looking. He was a little disorientated for a moment, but they get away with it. This is Clint Jones. And we tried to dab it into the back pocket. And Merritt
got away with one there, Clint Jones. You're going to make a mistake in that area of the ground. Get it long and wide when in doubt.
So Hickey engaging with West. Rains. And here's Farron Ray. So the Saints have got 4 minutes. They desperately need to get at least one goal back before the major break. Delaney and Tanya. Now Dempster. This is Stanley. They've got to find a way of getting Nick Revolt into the game also. That was a precise kick needed and provided by Stanley. And he finds Saunders. Under 4 minutes remaining.
They need to hit the scoreboard, the Saints.
Revo with Adcock as his opponent. I reckon he's just giving away the free. The two captains entwining there. So Patfull's left Revolt and gone back into the defensive 50.
Jonathan Brown's pushed back to the Brisbane Lions.
Hickey is the big tall target down there, so Stanley's also got back to the goal square. So Revolt's waited and waited, and now he's ready to release it. He changes up the kick, and that was a great kick. Billings drew some contact.
Great contest. Rains and Billings.
Could potentially have been a free kick, but the umpire not seeing it that way. Saunders, Billings, still shaken up a little. Oh, the boot now, Mays. It'll come back in. Bruce, a fumble again. Quickly gets it moving. Dunstan, he gives it the heave-ho. Let's see if Hickey can get his hands to it. He got his hands and his head to it. Jones, was that high? It was.
Yeah, it was.
Marginal, but it was just enough against Polkinghorne.
Yeah, there's not a lot he could do, Polkinghorne. He could probably just go in, try and go lower if he could. Once he stood up, he had to just sort of backpedal on the back foot. Have a look at the contest there from Billings and Rains. Jack Billings and the veteran Rains hard at it. Both players' eyes on the ball.
So Clint Jones simply must put this through for the Saints, which he does.
Well, they desperately needed that St Kilda. Clint Jones has been playing down back a little bit on Jed Adcock, pushed forward hard, and he's running back to defence now. And the ball gets to a real dangerous spot and it puts any defence under pressure. Let's have a look here at the loose ball. Hickey probably should have marked that. There's Jones. Head over the ball, and Polkinghorne. Not a lot he could do. He had his hands in the air, and definitely should have marked that Hickey, but yeah, just a bit clumsy there, Polkinghorne. Much needed goal there for St Kilda. Clint Jones, as we said, he's playing down back, or he's on the wing at the moment.
9 contested possessions tonight for Clint Jones out of his 11. Yeah. So maybe that can just give the Saints a little bit of a burst. They both ran around it. Dunstan. Here's Mays coming off the side. Rockcliffe feeding Hanley. Time to consider, and he used that time very wisely. Leicester, an important link in the Lions' chains, and while they watched the Lions, Geary just got away with a little handball there. Otherwise, he was potentially handing back a shot for goal to the Lions. He might get one anyway. Rockcliffe. The other way, Dempster. Rains having none of it. McGuan runs straight into Savage. Down to Barry Hall.
But as Jack Stevens, he's only had the 2 disposals this quarter. Is it time that he's getting a hard tag? Is it time that he went on to someone like a Zorko or a Redden?
Yeah, definitely. They've got to do something now. As you said, two disposals this quarter. He's the most important midfield for mine, and he needs to get in the game, there's no doubt about that. But you've got to give credit to Brisbane.
Yep.
Every time he's got the ball, it's been pressured and it's been really tough for him.
Yeah, it's been Nick Robertson doing most of the hard work there on the reigning St Trevor Barker medalist, Jack Stevens.
He's just got Mays on him at the moment, as we saw. So perhaps he is playing in the forward line at the moment. Stephen having a bit of a break.
Again, really good pressure, forward pressure. Time inside the forward 50 puts any defence under pressure. Good hard smother.
The Saints have got some extra numbers at the footy here, and one back in the goal square. Rains, did he duck?
Oh, gee. Well, you called it, Hutto. I think you're 50% right. I'd like to have another look. It was definitely too high, but did he duck? No, he didn't. Too high there, Josh Saunders. Got to go low with the arms. Tackle with your body and let your arms come in secondary. So he flings his arms nice and high.
His knees went down, but he didn't actually duck the head.
He had to get those, shoot from the hips with the tackle.
So Andrew Rains,
I know it sounds strange,
his
Hutto, but
numbers are so impressive.
Yeah, this is an important kick for Brisbane because they've dominated the quarter. They've had 18 inside 50s to 10, yet 4 goals to 2, Brisbane's favour. So they need more reward for effort tonight.
So 25 points the margin. That's not the connection he was after. Brown flies, and Hickey just forces it out of bounds. So the Saints dodge one there. Still an opportunity though for the Lions. Hickey and West. West got to the front, great reading. Redden, Ray was onto him. Now Zorko, a hard man to claim at the best of times. Goes to ground, no free kick. Back under again, Zorko, Geary, riding him hard. Dempster.
Again, no easy possession. Really good forward line pressure here for Brisbane.
There's Billings and Clark. We're down to 5 seconds. Robertson, clock will win here, you suspect. Siren sounds, half-time, and it's the Brisbane Lions who have brought their A game. They lead by 25 points.
No, they've been terrific, Hutto. Rains, Redden, Adcock, Zorko. Merritt going forward. Adcock in defence, the skipper's led the way. It's all Brisbane, they deserve this lead.
Well, they lead 8-5-53, the Brisbane Lions. They look good at the moment at half-time. St Kilda, 4-4-28 here in Wellington as we rejoin the team, led by Sandy Roberts.
Thank you, Hutto. Yes, the Saints having the job ahead of them. 25 points down at the long break with the Brisbane Lions charging clear in the first quarter.
So Brisbane to take a 25-point lead into the third quarter here in Wellington. Barry Hall, with your thoughts on a couple of those big men matchups.
Yeah, thanks, Hutto. Well, we spoke about Nick Riewoldt and the influence he could have on this game. And if they could stem his influence, it would go a long way to winning. And they've certainly done that. They've done their homework, the Brisbane Lions. There's no doubt about that. And firstly, it's been about the pressure of the ball coming inside 50. The pressure in the midfield's been outstanding. But it's also been Justin Clark. Reece Stanley's been playing on Justin Clark, and he's just been playing 5 metres off him. Every time a high, long ball comes in, he's there to give him a chop out. And as you see there, everyone, it's a real team aspect on Nick Riewoldt at the moment that they're really giving him a chop out. But Reece Stanley's the one for me that becomes the most important forward now. He needs to get in dangerous positions. He needs to work a little bit harder and let Justin Clark really make him be accountable.
Thanks, Hawley. Into the third quarter then. And Hickey's one of a whole group of Saints that needs to lift in this second half, and he'll know that. Who are some of the others that need to improve?
Well, I think Jack Stephen is their best player through the midfield at the present time. He needs to lift. Zorko's been so dangerous.
11 disposals, Jared, in that quarter. 5 score involvement, 6 tackles.
He's vying for BOG honours, and they're going to need him to be if they're to get across the line. You'd expect a response from the Saints. You reckon that Alan Richardson would have got the big Wellington boot out and given a bit of a hoof, you'd reckon, Spud. They need to respond here.
No, there's no doubting that. They need to get on the front foot and take the game on.
Going by hand initially, and then Delaney kicks to the wing. Here's Stanley.
That's better.
He got a yard on Clark, takes the mark. Riewoldt bolts back.
Get it in quick has got to be the order of the day, because Nick Riewoldt is being tracked down by 2 or 3 players each time. He needs to be one out.
There was another kick in between, really, wasn't it?
See, he's been a good. He's played a great game as Brisbane skipper, Jed Adcock.
And he's got West on the wing. Go West, and he does. He takes the mark. Lead 25. Just sneaks one up onto the wing. And Lester kicks the half forward. I know you're a big fan, Jared. Kicks it in the distance of the 50, and there's Jonathan Brown with Bruce. The ball goes over and out.
He's a worker, Hutto. He works hard. At the moment, he's got one of the greats of the game. in the modern era, Lenny Hayes as his direct opponent. He keeps taking the front spot, which I think is good play.
Ray kicks Stanley, almost
That's
got
better
spoiled
from
by his,
Well done, Stanley.
his own teammate in Revolt. Now he's got some options to the left. He uses Billings,
Good run,
made
Billings.
him work, and scooting into the pocket was Jones along the line. Now Revolt makes his move. Billings was certainly tempted. Instead feeds it back to Montagna, and he's able to work it over to his fellow long sleeves man in Jack Stephen. Almost got away from him. It's a bit wet and fumbly. Stephen to sum it up. He just can't get it to curl.
Well, that's the problem. When you've got a wet ball, I know it's only a few minutes old, but it's not going to hook as much as the dry ball. But a better start to Reece Stanley. Stephen's also got a couple of touches, so some positive up signs for the Saints.
Margin is an even 4 goals. 8-5 to 4-5. Windy night in Wellington, but certainly the weather has held and is fine enough. Sorko, he's injected some wonderful pace into this game. Off
Great
the
man.
left of the next
West
give
on.
was good. Lewis Taylor knows where the goals are. It's a scrubby looking kick, but it's online.
Right.
And that, in the end, is all that matters.
That is just magnificent play. Cut and run through the middle of the ground. Forward handball, start in the back half. And just have a look at here. The source merit, Jared. The way they took the game on through the middle.
Speed.
And the
they've got
handball's
some
going
speedsters.
forward.
That's what they've done well at recruitment. Hasn't really paid off on the scoreboard until this moment. But you can just see when you've got Zorko linking it up to Lewis Taylor, who's got plenty of go about him. We suggested he might be a real find before the match. At the moment, he's playing well on the big stage.
Well done, Lewis Taylor. They've owned the corridor, haven't they? The Brisbane Lions. They've defended really well. They've forced St.Kilda wide, but when they get the ball, they're willing to take the game on through the middle.
And
Exciting goal.
They lead by 5 goals. Stephen, again, it wasn't clean for Geary. Gets it back again, Jack Stephen. Now Revolt gets into the frame. Savage did well, not once but twice. Opened it for Saunders. He was waiting. He made the good call in the end. He's put it through. So the Saints hit back.
Well, he was one that really did need to lift Josh Saunders. He's been pretty good right throughout the early part of the season. He's had a stack of tackles. He's had plenty of the footy. I thought he was pretty ordinary in the first half. So he needed to do something like this to get himself involved. And I think it might have probably been a handball spud, but in the end he had to make a decision.
Well, Jeddah did a really good job corralling, so I don't blame him for that one. But yeah, look, he could have given the handball, but he kicked the goal, so that's all St Kilda needed.
Saunders puts it through. 9-5 to 5-5. He just joined us. St Kilda had to use their sub very early, Shane Savage. The injury to
Well read, Redden.
Templeton. Redden sends it out to Ace. And he's bolting away from Nunes. Left footer. It had Jonathan Brown's name on it, but it never quite got there. Geary.
Good courage, Geary.
Geez, he's become a good small defender now, Spud.
No, he's been solid. 19 disposals.
It was very short.
Just the required distance.
Just not sure what you gain by that kick.
Especially with Zorko bearing down on you.
Dunstan heaves it up onto the wing. Coming late was Stanley. Didn't get there to really fly. And again, they spring into action. Leicester, Zorko, bit of a speculative handball that time, and it doesn't come off. Savage too was working at pretty low percentages. Billings, anticipation was terrific, but Lewis Taylor was about to make the great escape. Free kick goes to Billings. He looks a terrific young type. We expected nothing less. He was draft pick number 3 last year for the Saints.
Stevens making space out here in the wing.
They've got a lot more movement about them now, the Saints. They are looking better.
They're going forward, Hutto, and they're doing it with a little bit of speed. But they are getting back pretty hard, the Lions. One thing I think Justin Leppert needs a lot of credit for, and that is he's got good work rate out of this group, and they are defensively running well.
Now, Jimmy Webster. That is not an orthodox-looking kick. Revolt, again, had
He's
lots
on
of
one leg
company.
right now, I reckon.
Yeah. Ray, Montagna, wasn't ready for it, Big Reese. Ray has a second crack at it into the square, and Aish getting back.
Well, the ball use has been a lot better for both sides at the start of this third quarter, both going at 88%. So it means the game is opening up a little bit.
Aish hugging the boundary. Brown, Gwilt, Delaney. His timing was good, just couldn't quite grasp the mark. Brown kept it alive. Redden chances the arm, brings it into the corridor. It's been productive so far, as we said. Green was clean, and was able to pounce and just get it away, hoping that Paparone would be able to run onto it.
Well, they got away with one there, the Saints. Delaney just has to mark that ball. I mean, it's just AFL. It's not country footy, Baz.
And this kick we were talking about, Nick Riewoldt. He's got numbers around him. Clark in front of him, paying no respect to Reece Stanley at all. He needs to get dangerous, Reece Stanley, and make Clark defend.
No, it's a good call, Baz. He's either got to run back hard to the goal square, because if he just loiters around Nick Riewoldt, it makes it so easy for defence to pick the Saints skipper up. So he needs to get on his bike, use his athleticism.
This quarter, inside 56 to Brisbane, 4 to St Kilda. They're in there again. Aish, a real rainmaker. Good spoil from Bruce, but into a dangerous position, and Leicester scooped it up, just put it on the boot.
Been clean at ground level, the Brisbane Lions tonight.
So here's Gwilt.
We're going one-on-one of the kickouts here, the Brisbane Lions.
Farron Ray called upon to fly.
Evenly balanced right now, this match. The Saints have come out with a little bit of increase in intensity. Not sure it's right throughout the whole group at the present time, but they are going forward. They're looking a little bit better. But they need everybody to come with them if they're to challenge for this match, because the Lions are looking pretty solid.
Jack Redden's ball.
Okay, Mark, Jack Redden, pull the jumper. Hold the jumper,
They've done this kick really well tonight. As I said, it's high risk, high return, but what it does, it gives the forwards two options to lead now when you get into the corridor.
Merritt, you can see the extra, and that's Dempster. He doesn't mark it though. Left it open for Brown and Paparone. Off a St Kilda boot, it's a behind anyway.
Half a throw there, but it was a really good contest from Jonathan Brown to bring the ball to the ground. He knew that Dempster was the third man in.
Tanya to himself. Got Reece Stanley as the long target. I'm not sure where that was meant for, but it found Dunstan, so we'll say that was the target. Into the middle to Farron Ray. He's got some run providing from behind. He worked the angles well, the Saints. Mark taken by Savage. Can he hit up the lead of Riewoldt, or Stanley? Went for Stanley.
Well, it's good. It's really good forward movement there. You had Billings, and it was through the middle of the ground. They took the game on.
Yeah, Nunes was very good across the angle.
No, he wasn't. Farron Ray found space in the corridor, so was this a throw or a handball from Big Brownie? Oh no, he got half a fist on that. Well done.
So the Saints, they've just upped the ante a little bit in the third quarter.
That was better there, that vision, movement from Stanley and Riewoldt. So the defenders have to defend.
Let's see what it comes to. Reece Stanley from 40 out. It's pretty right. You can hear the groans from the crowd. Shake of the head from Reece Stanley.
Yeah, he started really well this quarter. It's his third mark. Just need to capitalise on that though.
Now Hanley goes for Robertson. So deep in the back pocket, Robertson.
Jonathan Brown, free kick.
Yeah, against Bruce. Yeah, that's disappointing. Give me a free kick there.
Takes it swiftly, moved it to Zorko. Green in his sights. That's a legal spoil.
No, that's a terrific spoil from Webster.
That's out of bounds. Josh Green returning to the team tonight and looking very dangerous.
Oh, beauty. Good athleticism there from Jimmy.
Hickey careful not to give away the free. He stayed afloat, Lewis Taylor. Oh, look at his movement. Keeping them guessing, kicking it high to full forward. Dempster again, a thorn in the side, takes the mark.
She's got some future here, the Brisbane Lions. Spoke with the likes of Aish and Taylor. There's two really handy-looking types. Robertson, good luck, good on Robertson. He got a bit of a lesson last week, and he's been given another opportunity at the same role by the coach, and he hasn't let him down tonight.
It's a very delicate operation, this one by the Saints on the way out. In the end, they forced a retreat. Dempster has to go down the line. It's a bullet to Lenny Hayes. Does that open things up through the middle? Not immediately. Jones has got himself free on the wing. Hayes hasn't seen him. He decides instead that he'll go for Stanley. There's a bit of a push there, and Hickey goes down as well.
Yeah, Stanley needs the ball kicked out in front. The kick was kicked on top of Stanley's head. Having a bit of a spell. Yeah, they've got Riewoldt one-on-one, so they get a clean clearance here, St Kilda. They're going to look very dangerous.
They're no spare inside the defensive 50. They're pushing back now to provide some coverage. Free kick to Hayes, so it'll get tested. Now they've got 2 back inside the 50, which leaves a couple on the arc, and you can see them there lining up. Curran deciding the handball to Savage. He's a big kick. He decides to pass instead.
Well done, Patrick.
Labouring hard. Here's an opportunity for Jones. Oh, brilliant stuff from Clint Jones. Jammed it on the boot, and he's got the connection he was after. It's back to 19.
It's been one of the highlight moves of the night, putting Clint Jones into the forward line. He's been charged with trying to lock down on Adcock, and you see Adcock there ball watching. I think he thought he was going to be on the handball receive, but in swooped Clint Jones, and he got the job done. He's got an unorthodox ball drop, but he's been getting the job done so far this year.
They're showing some resolve here, the Saints in Wellington.
And last Thursday night, the Brisbane Lions, they played extremely well, but for a 10-minute gap, Richmond kicked 5 goals. That's going to be the issue now. They just need to settle a goal here, Brisbane. That's a scoop.
Brisbane, play on.
And taken quickly by Rains. It's been a bit quieter in the second half so far. Leicester pumps it deep. Brown and Delaney entwine. Hits the ground. Geary back to Delaney. Lumbers a bit. Merritt caught, stripped of it. Stephen Lewis-Taylor's there. Gwilt prepared to kick. And he gets it over the line. And we'll have a throw in.
The thought was there, not the execution from Tom Hickey, just the scoop up the back.
He's sort of a bit unlucky in a way, just trying to get it out of there. And it was definitely...
If it had rolled it on the ground, it would have been the perfect steal.
Looks like Jack Stephen, top of the screen there, has gone onto the great Zorko.
Been a bit busier this quarter, Jack Stephen. He's had the 6 disposals.
Well, I think it's a good move. He's been shut down himself. Put him onto Zorko, who's had plenty of it.
1 metre.
See if they can get a win there, get their young gun back into the game.
And Robertson's gone to Hayes at this stage. There is Robertson and Hayes. And there is Zorko at the coalface, causing havoc. Nunes back for Geary. On the back foot, the Saints here. Hayes tried to probe it out of there, can't. And another ball up the result. 9-7 plays 6-6. Margin is at 19. Midpoint, third quarter approaching. Saints have made some ground, not as much as they would have liked. Curran. Savage rode the bump to the voice of Ross. Had time just to size things up. Unfortunately, though, look at Revolt as ever.
Both players.
Well done from Polkinghorne, weaving. Kicking to half forward. Good spoil, Stephen. Didn't give away the free, importantly. Zorko.
I've liked the attack of Savage on the ball since he's been substituted on the ground. And he's just running with the ball, flight of the ball. We saw that in his first year. We're seeing it in his final years. That time, it was a good intercept, though, by the Lions.
Just winning some quality ball at the moment, the Saints.
Down to Hayes, blasting into the middle. And this is Hanley.
That's the really dangerous kick. When you blast it into the forward line, there's a couple of players there. Look how easily it flows into the forward line.
Brown couldn't quite take the footy or clean up his opponent. Hayes lets the traffic pass and then finds a couple of Saints who almost got into each other's road, but Hickey was able to take it. Stephen Dunstan still running here to provide an option. I tend to try to find him. It wasn't a great decision, obviously. You don't want to rectify the situation. And they're still running, the Saints on the outer side. Savage tucks it under the arm, glances into the 50. There's nothing for him at all, so he needs to get within striking distance. Revolt, he reckons he's close enough. He wasn't.
Now they really lifted their intensity, St Kilda, though.
Not sure about that kick from Nick Rewald.
That's a wobbly handball.
Tackle here, St Kilda.
Oh, it's a St Kilda free.
He needed to actually go back, prop and kick it backwards and stop play because there was absolutely no one there.
It's against Darcy Gardner. Off the ball here.
No one's questioning his work rate, though. Once again, exhausted.
Just next to the point post.
It was just that last grasp, wasn't it, over on Tom Curran?
There's controlled aggression and there's dumb aggression. Just flailing with his arms there, unfortunately.
How would you rate that one then, Spud?
Yeah, he just had to go low with the arms, as simple as that. Any arm over the top.
So Curran comes in.
That hurts.
It's heading left, but it's marked on the line. No, it's...
That's a mark, Brisbane.
It is a mark. He didn't think it was a mark.
He just should have been pinged for throwing the ball there, Spud. if you want to be really harsh.
And that would have been super harsh. Leicester takes it over the line and out of bounds. So the margin 19. Let's have another look at this. Patfull takes it.
Good mark.
Thinks he's over the line for some reason and throws it back to Pierce Hanley. A bit strange. Robertson, Paparone, Green. Here they go again, bolting. Rains gave it to Big Brown. His back was to goal and he wasn't quite sure who to give it to. He chose McGawn and he is wrapped up and just about cooked.
Yeah, probably the option there with Brown. He tried to do the right thing, just to look away handball, greasy conditions. There's no one on. He really could have wheeled because Tommy Rockcliffe was making a run towards the goal, but he made a mistake by playing team footy.
Stanley, well done from Farron Ray. Here's Savage, who's looked dangerous at times. That wasn't his best performance, but he's had 7 in this quarter.
They've had a little bit of the ball here, St Kilda, but they just haven't been able to get enough on the scoreboard. Both big men at both ends of the ground are having very little influence on the match, so it is going to be a battle of wills between the 28 blokes through the middle of the ground.
Yeah, it's a battle just to stay on your feet at the moment, isn't it, for both clubs out there? It's become very slippery. All the way back for Gardner, kicks to Paparone. Terrific spoil, not to give away the free from Jimmy Webster. He might have an issue here. No, the umpire is kind and calls for a bounce.
Yeah, it's a great spoil. Degree of difficulty here, just timing it to perfection. He hits the arms there. It's a free kick. He got the middle of the ball.
West feeding Montagna now. Revolt, another hug in the mark. He wore one and looks up. There's not a lot for him. Brisbane surging numbers back, so feeding it through the middle to Hayes.
Jones is on through the middle.
It's got to be an inch-by-inch thing here for the Saints, trying to keep moving it, but just hitting little targets along the way. That's what they're trying to do. There's an element of danger with it all. The switch potentially on for Stanley, but instead he goes to Geary. Still got Montagna out this side. That's where it's headed. So they've changed the avenue. And the angled kick was a good one. Still not within range, though.
Find some space. Jack Billings is a half forward.
Well, there's enough St Kilda jumpers deep to kick it long to the square. That's how he assesses as well. He's gone very long to the square, and Savage not paid the mark.
Courageous mark. James Aish.
He's lucky to get. Ooh, very lucky.
Very, very lucky. James Savage. And the Saints fans are a bit savage on that one.
What about the mark from James Aish in that area of the ground?
Yeah.
A lot of confidence.
No grab there to Polkinghorne. Anyone's footy. Seb Ross determined. He might have given a shove in the back to Polkinghorne, who certainly would have blown the whistle if he was the umpire. There's Redden. They've got him cornered.
Whistle up.
Okay, thanks, Robbo.
Well, you pointed it out, Spud, but he's travelled very deep, has Aish. He's taken the front spot, and that's why he's got the grab.
He backed himself in.
Should have been punched to the ground. The crumb would have been just as good.
Just 18 years of age, James Aish. Pick 7, as we said in the draft last year, and already making an impact. Jones to Hayes, so an experience around the contest starting to be significant for the Saints, and it opens up for Curran, and Curran puts it through, and finally the Saints get reward.
It's just been work rate for the Saints. Work rate. Nick Rewalt, that was the right option there. He was 2-on-1, and you get your crumbing players getting to the floor of the ball. It was a really good, dangerous kick from Lenny Hayes.
But it's
to the
clean,
top of the square.
Clean ball control too.
Nick Rewalt, 2-on-1, brings the ball to the ground. That's a great team goal here.
Hasn't been too many passages of play for the Saints that they haven't fumbled. That one was a goal because no fumbling at all.
The big error there at the Brisbane Lions, the ball spilled over the back. Had to go forward or sideways.
Might bring you in here, Hawley. What do you think the Saints have done better in this third quarter?
Well, it's just their outside run. The younger contested possessions, they're plus 18, so the outside run's been a lot better. Jack Stevens has come into the game. He's had 8 this quarter, so a lot going right for the Saints.
Savage as well too, Hawley. He's been lively. He's a half forward.
And Lenny brilliant there into Ross. to half forward. St Kilda with some run, with some momentum. Starting to hit the scoreboard too. Tough for everyone to handle. As we saw again, Revolt down to Billings. Revolt decides to go off the turf. It's 2-on-1. Hickey needs to try and square the contest. He can't. And a bit of a fumble from the Irishman, Hanley. Made it look like the Irish game there as he did a bit of a solo. Round the corner goes West. And it slides out of bounds.
You can see the forward pressure of St Kilda. No easy outs at the moment for Brisbane. They did well to get it out of the defensive 50 there, Brisbane Lions, but the Saints are starting to hunt in packs.
It's a big moment now for the Brisbane Lions. Last week they were in a similar position at a similar time in the match. They got overrun by the Tigers. Now's their moment. This is the moment. Kick a goal, kick two, and you can put the Saints to bed pretty early in this last 40 minutes of footy.
Good run here from Robertson.
Terrific running and well spotted. Robertson gathers on the 50, not beyond him, and he knows it. What a terrific effort. Just hits the post.
Great build-up.
Got a high five for the poster. It's good encouragement. Down to you, Barry. You got some news from down the bench?
Yeah, Tommy Cutler's been subbed into the game, so I'll keep you posted on who's got the red vest.
Okay, there's a good kick back to the wing for Savage to handle, which he does.
He's been lively, Savage. Disposal number 8 this quarter.
And it opens up now. Dunstan for Ray. There's a Saint heading back to the goal square. There was two, actually. One was Revolt, and the other was this young man, Jack Billings.
He's a footballer. That's what he is. He finds space. He marks the ball overhead, and he's an extremely good kick. There's the young and the old. The skipper and the youngest player in their side, Jack Billings.
Well, he's a noted goal kicker. This shouldn't trouble him. But another clean passage of play by the Saints. Getting the ball inside forward 50 quickly.
So Billings.
Well, he learned from that. He fell off the back of it.
He did. He leant back a little bit there, Jared. You know, he's 45 metres out. You just put him down for that.
3-3 to 1-3 for the quarter. Poster from each team in the last couple of minutes.
And the next goal, if it's a Brisbane Lion goal, it can really hurt.
Lukey McGuan's put on the red vest, Hutto.
Okay, so Luke McGuan subbed off.
Thank you.
Again, hasn't had a really big impact for the Lions. Hickey down to Hayes. He's starting to really have a significant say in this game. Getting it in there relentlessly, the Saints. Clark as the pressure swells. And now it's Adcock under the hammer. Howley up by Reed. It doesn't have to make a decision. Instead, it's over to Saunders.
Well, Billings did his bit to make amends for the shot at goal, but unfortunately for him, Josh Saunders, who was on the end of it, wasn't able to get the goal, but it was a great tackle. A magnificent tackle on Jed Adcock to get the spillage.
It's been Hayes and Stevens this quarter.
They've lifted, haven't they?
Yeah, it's a really good tackle there. Perfect tackle.
Well, they're surging at the moment, the Saints. There's a fumble from Mays.
He just took his eye off it there just for a split second, thinking about where's he going to go, who's going to get on the end of it. Slippery conditions, the ball comes on you a little bit quicker. You just got to train your eye on that ball.
Double fisted from West, and it's over and out. Same number of inside 50s this term each. Saints have had more tackles, 12 to 6 in fact. So not high numbers as far as tackling is concerned. They've also won the contested possessions for the quarter quite convincingly. There's a fumble on Rockcliffe. It's been pretty well held this game so far. Redden, crunched by Dempster. Aish going and going again. Along the line for Paparone.
That's really good play from Aish. Pushed off the ball by Lenny Hayes. He doesn't go to ground, Spud. And 10 possessions in this quarter. He is just growing before our very eyes.
Throw in again, West. High up and under. Dunstan back to the wing. Plenty congregating there. Hayes again. Dumped without the ball.
A free kick to Hayes.
Yep.
Yeah, the veteran, he's the one that's really lifted. This is disposal number 12 this quarter, Lenny.
He had 4 clearances as well for the term, Lenny Hayes. This is the hard bit now. Finding the right way to go. He's gone very long. Stanley, got to get there. He did get there, couldn't mark it. Now it falls back to him again. Well played. Off the left, it's Ross. Across the face. And out of bounds.
He's got all the momentum at the moment, St Kilda.
Over metre, Trent, Tom.
So they're circling the Saints. West, Revolt tries his turn as a ruckman. Ray, Hayes, sets it for Stephen. He had a man in the pocket. He went for a bit of a low percentage job. He has another opportunity now. And this time his kick was half touch. It falls almost for Revolt, but it's not going his way tonight. Leicester.
They're open.
Yeah, this is the counter that's been so deadly for them so far.
Needs to find Green if he
Decided
can.
to try and bounce in these conditions. It was a dangerous call.
Got to get
Taylor
a goal out of this.
and Zorko. Lions had numbers everywhere. They bumbled their way forward. All that matters though is that the goal is kicked, and it's not.
Went the wrong way, went on the left foot, had to come on the inside, but there were 2 or 3 other mistakes in that passage. That was a goal from the minute it opened up at centre-half back, but they weren't able to convert. It's got one straight up the middle, but they're playing safe and going wide.
Goes for Savage. Perhaps had the arms chopped there. Not paid. Towering figure still, Jonathan Brown.
Minute 41 on the clock. I think Brisbane desperately need a goal just for their momentum and their confidence. St Kilda in the last 10 minutes have dominated the play, and you wouldn't want the ball in a better person's hands than Jonathan Brown in this situation.
Just 2 kicks tonight, Jonathan Brown, but he has had 9 handballs. So.
Just got to be careful on the run-ups on this ground. If you add too much momentum, when you place that foot down, you can slip. I'd reckon that if you played here a lot, you'd probably change your run-up and just come off 2 or 3 steps. Plugger used to do it, Dacos used to do it. A lot of the greats have done it on much wetter grounds than this. But this one is a bit treacherous on the top.
11 goals, 4 for the season, Jonathan Brown.
Did it easy.
Over 250 games, he's been kicking goals just like that.
Much needed goal, and that's what you want from your leaders, the veteran. He kicked 4 goals last week. He's competed 2 and 1 most of the nights. As I said, there's only 3 kicks for Jonathan Brown, but he's had 8 or 9 handballs. That is just a beautiful, you called it beautifully, Jared. 3 steps and just caressed the ball. He didn't drive off that pivot foot, where a lot of players have been slipping underfoot. So that's a much needed goal for their confidence, the Brisbane Lions. St Kilda have dominated play in the last 10 minutes.
So they're successfully holding the Saints at bay here, the Lions.
All comes down to conversion. They had 2 opportunities at the other end, the Saints, for 2 behinds. And big Jonathan Brown's taken a mark and plonked one from 40 metres out.
And well played, Redden gets it deep.
Farron Ray's free for St Kilda.
He had some options initially on the outer side. Instead, he waited. Goes for Gwilt. We'll get down to you, Hawley.
Yeah, well, 6 out of the last 7 inside 50s for the Saints. So it was a real win for Brisbane to go forward after that, leaking that many inside 50s and kicking goal. Real win for Brisbane.
Options drying up quickly for James Gwilt. Down the line to the tall timber. Hickey and Stanley both flew. Well done, Dunstan.
That's great.
Oh, no, it's below the knees.
Below the knees.
He couldn't fault his commitment.
Well, there's the extra for Brisbane. So Farron Ray gets the ball. Let's have a look. Oh, no, that's
when you get to the ball first, I think it's a really tough call.
So if that had been a dry surface, the skid wouldn't have been as great.
He's clearly got to the ball well before the man coming.
But there's no reason he needs to go to ground, and that's the real. This guy ends up with an ACL. That's the price you pay. It's a good decision.
It's a good decision for the umpire. The welfare of the players at heart. That's.
At the end of the day, he doesn't have to go to the ground spot. He was there first. He could have kept his feet.
The coaches had that meeting in October and all voted affirmative on that particular incident there.
So 3/4 time here, and it was a much better quarter by St Kilda, but it did not amount to anything like what they would have hoped for. They've kicked 3 goals forward, a 2-4. 19 points remains the margin. The locals, they've enjoyed the action so far, and are they going to see a thrilling last quarter? Let's hope so. The Saints are 19 points in arrears at the last. Round 6 Anzac Day tension turned to Wellington for the second time. The Saints playing away from home as the home team, but it was the Brisbane Lions who took the initiative early in the first quarter. A couple of players returning to the team, Rains and Green, having a big say in proceedings. St Kilda were finding the going tough, and matters were made worse by an injury to Eli Templeton, which saw him subbed before the first break. And they failed to make any impact in the second quarter, St Kilda. The Lions continuing to take the initiative, kicking goals. Young Aish kicking a terrific goal off the left foot with some assistance from the experienced former captain in Jonathan Brown. Merritt also back in the team and also joined the list of goal kickers. They were inspired at the half, leading by 4 goals. St Kilda's third term, a lot better. They were relentless in their effort, their pressure certainly improved, and finally they got some reward, although not as much as they would have liked, and the margin at the final break is 19 points, so the job's still very much ahead of the Saints. 7-8-50 St Kilda, the Brisbane Lions 10-9-69 here at Wellington. We get down to Barry Hall.
Yeah, thanks, Hutto. Well, you got the ball inside 50 a hell of a lot more. How'd you rate the forwards?
Yeah, pretty good, mate. Yeah, pressure was okay. So that was a little focus at half-time for us, was get the ball into the tools. Rui's doing an outstanding job, and our tools are bringing the ball to ground. So if we do that, our smalls work in, we'll give ourselves a chance.
And we heard a little whisper, there's some bad news about Templeton.
Yeah, not great news for the kid. Yeah, broken arm, so taken to hospital. So our thoughts are with him, mate, obviously. Yeah.
Good luck for the last quarter.
Cheers, Bets. Thanks.
Broken arm for Eli Templeton. There it is. From the first quarter. And the young man who's made a terrific impact in his first 5 and a bit games of AFL will be a spectator for a few weeks to come. So the Lions leading by just over 3 goals. Stephen scooped it out and they're away, the Saints. Hickey seemed unsure. He gave it back to a man who was under pressure. Lenny Hayes puts a wrap on Robertson. Saunders. It's really greasy now.
Bit lucky again there, the Saints sliding in at the ball. It looked as if that should have gone the other way, but at that opening centre bounce. You've got to find something here now, the Saints. Got to get on the board early, get the pressure, get the belief running, because the Lions, they are as hungry as they could be.
Hayes, is he the man? It wasn't pretty, and unfortunately hits the post.
Sides are always much hungrier when they haven't won a game.
Here's the slide from Stevens. Yeah, it should have been a free kick against. Yeah, it should have been Aisha's call. It's a welfare of the safety of the player standing over the ball.
High ball to half back, revolt. Well, he played for it and got it. So, a smart play by Pierce Hanley.
Well, they've got them where they want them, Spud. They've got the Saints on the ropes. Yep. If they can get the first one, they might just find they fold a little bit mentally. They've come in a little bit unders as far as the mental preparation. They weren't as intense early in the piece, but you've still got to get the scoreboard pressure ticking over.
Yeah, that wasn't a great kick because Trent West was on the boundary line. He's kicked to his direct opponent in Hickey, so he should have looked for his taller ruckman on the boundary line.
Montagna had Dempster well positioned. It's a dangerous handball over to Gear. He has to react quickly. Got around Cutler. Then he's claimed.
Perfect tackle.
Best he could do is get a knee to the ball there.
Zorko again.
Yep.
That's his 11th tackle, Dane Zorko.
It's been great.
He's searching for Jonathan Brown. He's found him, but so too did Gwilt. Green got crunched. Montagna on that very last line. Jones wore a couple and then handball to the good of Stephen. Decides to keep it in for Stanley. He had some handball options. He waited.
Good running, Stephen.
Yeah, it was good running from Stephen.
I think Justin Lepich needs to just have a look at what's happening with Jack Stevens, because if they are to win, he's going to be one of the driving forces.
No tall targets really. Now there is. Reece Stanley, and that's going to be a free. The advantage paid. Nunes over the top. Billings, he'll kick it. Now the Saints are coming.
That's what they needed. They need to get a score on the board nice and early, St Kilda, to get their running game going. You're right with Stephen, Jared. He's been busy since half-time. Just not sure. Jed's been playing really well, but he went up far too early. Just misread it, unfortunately. As soon as the ball spilled over the back, when you've got 2 defenders there, that should be going out of bounds for a boundary throw-in. And there's always a free kick. There's really good running there. And Jack Billings there, you can see Leper not overly happy with the ball spilling over the back.
Well, they haven't won all year, the Lions, and everyone knows that, so the pressure will mount if the Saints can hit the scoreboard. Jack Billings there puts the first one, the vital first one of the last. Now they are within a couple of goals. It's as close as they've been since the second quarter. And now they've got a free one out of the middle.
Yeah, that first one, absolutely pivotal. And Justin Leppage knew it. It was a fundamental error from an experienced backman.
Wandering ball deep. And they circle around here, swarming the Saints. Wrapping up Mays. That was Savage laying the tackle.
So now they've got to attack, Spud. We know they've got half their side under 50 games, lots of inexperience. They've got to find a way to attack this footy.
Hickey also trying to do that for the Saints.
They need to score, the Brisbane Lions. They're not going to be able to hold the Saints out.
Plenty of voice out there from the captain. Well done, West. Got it down to Redden. It's not out of there yet. Dunstan and Taylor both sliding in these greasy conditions. Waging war in there. Ray, Gwilt, clever little handball. Opened it up for Ross initially, then Newnes.
That was a clever kick.
Delaney's popped up at the right time.
He's got Hickey pushing long to the square with Rewalt.
Didn't like anything that was on offer.
We had it one-on-one long. In these conditions, I'd just get the ball in. You could see the Brisbane line, the young defence is under pressure.
Well, particularly when you go to a one-on-one there and it could almost be intercepted. His speed,
he can still go
he's
long
using his speed now.
Now
Same position.
Great move from the skipper and well executed by Reece Stanley.
Great kick it was.
The Blondes working well in tandem there for the Saints.
That was a perfect kick.
Not an easy mark, Spud, to control as well. That ball would be pretty greasy and it was coming in at a rapid rate of knots.
That certainly was. The uncontested possessions at the start of this quarter, 23-1. St Kilda's favour.
Yeah, they haven't got near it, the Brisbane Lions. If this goes through, then all of a sudden the pressure will mount even further.
And through it goes with great authority and conviction. Saints back within 6.
It's a big, the skipper, he's had a quiet night, but here's where it started for Brisbane Lions. Trent West is out wide. Now the ball's gone to Hickey. There's West on the left of screen, just on the left of the screen.
Yep.
The kick to Hickey, they get their first goal. Have a look at the pass here. You called it the perfect searing pass. So great connection there between Stanley and Rewalt. Really good connection. Just point where you want it. Look where he is, kick to where he'll be, and that's where he was. Perfect.
We've got a real contest now at Westpac Stadium in Wellington. Nick Rewalt puts through the second goal of the quarter for the Saints. They're only 6 behind. And there's just a little bit of a missed handball. He went again. Did Dunstan. Again, he couldn't find his target.
Jack Stevens again the start of this quarter, 4 disposals.
Well, Cutler's on him, Spud, and Cutler needs to pay him a lot more respect than he is. He's about 4 metres off him at the present time, and there's Jack.
Yeah.
He's not good enough.
Straight up and under, might get his own kick. And it's over and out.
Yeah, when you play on a guy like Stevens who had a quiet first half, you need to put the finger in the back.
Back down to Barry Hall.
Yeah, well, the Saints are starting to use their assets now. Reece Stanley's he's obviously quick and got a lot of agility. We've seen on that last passage of play, that's exactly what they used. We also seen a block for Nick Rewalt, which was exactly what you need when you're getting numbers 2 or 3 up at a time. You're getting a few blocks to help Nick Rewalt out. It all helps.
Opens up for Cutler. Good instinctive hands from the Lions. They've got their turn to go forward. Jonathan Brown knows where they are. Yes, he
what
does.
a goal.
What about that from the veteran?
Well, that time was well read by everybody for the Brisbane Lions. In particular, Cutler, he turned the tables on him. He's playing a sweeping role to stoppage, and he gets on the end of that really instinctive handball. And you can see this time Jack Stephen doesn't pay him any credit.
A really good contest there from Jonathan Brown. But the third quarter, he got the quick lay handball. He learned from that. Greasy ball, play the percentages, put it on your boot, get it over the goal umpire's hat. They desperately needed that, the Brisbane Lions.
Geez, it all comes down to that stoppage. It was a really well thought out stoppage, well executed by the Lions.
Hickey got the tap. Lightning stuff from Montagna, but it's looked like it was going to go Brisbane's way.
Yeah, in the back of the end.
It's Hayes that takes that advantage. Goes for Rewalt. Now the chase is on. Savage, superior pace on Adcock. And the Brisbane skipper got it safely over the lines. So we've got a boundary throw in. They're inside their 50 here. Pressing again. Rewalt with a double-handed down. Rockcliffe to the voice of Ace, who's been terrific. West has given the freedom of a couple of steps. To half forward, Saints have to win this ball.
Well done by Quill. Just edged Merritt out of it. He knew that he was getting good cover by Dempster.
And Dempster got it over to Nunes.
Montagna
Let's fly. Montagna, the height is with Clark, but the experience and the skill with Lee Montagna.
Beautiful forward entry. It puts any defender under pressure, and Montagna, as we know, is not a contested mark player, but just used the drop zone of the ball magnificently well.
Started at this with this bump. Gwilt just takes him out. He doesn't deck him, doesn't give a free kick away, just takes his space. Dempster gets the ball, long kick in, and then a really smart long kick to Lee Montagna.
So here he is. No goal is easy tonight, but Lee Montagna makes it look easy.
No, well called, Jared. Just the defensive pressure there. Lee Montagna, again, he's had a terrific night. He was the one that kept him in the game early, Lee. He's set at the 29 disposals. Really good long kick there from Jack Nunes. Puts any defender under pressure, and when you have to search for the ball in your direct opponent, and you start searching, it means your direct opponent's got the ascendancy, and that's a really good contested mark from Lee.
All right, what does Justin Lepic do now, boys?
Well, the Brisbane Lions just need to get their hands on the ball, Hutto. It's been all St Kilda. You have a look at the clearances, 5-2 St Kilda's favour. Contested possessions, 14-7. He just got to back his young team in to win some ball. Stanley
takes his turn in the ruck. He guided it down well to Montagna. Off to Hayes. The Saints are rolling again. Montagna's kick, or Hayes' kick for Rewald.
That was all the old blokes then. Hayes to Montagna to Rewald.
Some familiar names there for the Saints. There's, well, Nick decided I think he wasn't going to mark it and felt a little bit of pressure behind. Went with it.
The key here is get it in, but don't let it out quickly because...
And Stanley, with a powerful effort in the air, takes the mark. He looks like he's arrived, Reece Stanley. Not before time as far as the St Kilda fans are concerned. Perhaps had one of his best games last week, and tonight his second half has been outstanding.
I just wonder what Aaron Hamill and Alan Richardson said to Reece Stanley at halftime. Whatever it said, it was just, you're good enough. Back yourself in. His second half, that you thought in the first half, well, he's just going to go through one of those games. Yep. But he's found a way. He's found a way to lift his teammates.
And this to level the score here in Wellington. The Lions have been front since early in the game, but Reece Stanley puts it through, and the Saints are inspired, and they're level. And this game has come to life. Let's get down to Barry Hall.
Well, as I said at three-quarter time, boys, he becomes the most dangerous forward now. He's the most important forward for the St Kilda Footy Club. He needs to make the defenders of Brisbane Lions most accountable, and he's done that. We've seen him last quarter. He's been fantastic. He's got to make him accountable, his opponent, to get off Rewald. It all helps each other.
Well, 6 inside 50s for St Kilda, 4 goals, 1.
They've done it with the big blokes, mainly up the ground. That time they had time to get Stanley back, but that's a nice little pop to the space and a free kick. Montagna has lifted really heavily in this last 5 minutes. Him and Lenny Hayes have been dominant through the middle. Rewald's come to the party.
And the Wellington crowd enjoying this game, which has really opened up.
Oh, it's still there. Montagna had a run. It was Dempster wide, but they're going down the middle.
Hayes is going to have to fly here. He couldn't really get into any position to do that, and that's a terrific fist. He'd be very excited by that, but like Spud, but it doesn't quite go out. Dempster. Oh, Dempster, no. He's kicked a goal tonight. He thought he could kick another, but he was wrong. Out on the floor.
Where's the free kick here to Montagna? Robertson's on him. Yeah, there was a push. There wasn't a lot in it, but there was enough push there to the umpire saw that it impeded his run at the ball.
You see a frustrated Jonathan Brown coming right up the ground. The ball over and out. 4 goals they've slammed on the Saints in 13 minutes in this last term.
Well, this is where they're winning at St Kilda. 7 clearances to 2. Montagna 3, Stevens 2, 5 between them.
Well, they need the blokes who were firing early. That was a flick too, but here goes Stevens again. They'll go direct.
Again with great authority, the Saints. It's going to be Adcock defending grimly down there with Polkinghorn.
That's a terrific spoil.
And another year in the gym, and those skinny arms. I think it was Billings, was it?
Yeah, Jack.
Jack Billings, he'll get him further out of space and he'll take a chest mark.
Throw in, flipped away by Stanley, down to Robertson. Out the back, Aish. Pressure on every kick and handball at the moment here in Wellington. And every mark, Paparone takes it. Timely one for the Lions at halfback. The margin, well, there's no margin. Scores are level and we've gone 14 minutes in this last quarter. Not a great kick.
No, there's a big difference though, Hutto. I know it wasn't a great kick. There's a lot of players there in the forward 50, but St Kilda are blocking the centre corridor better in the second half.
And they're winning the ball out of these stoppages as well. Much better. The Brisbane Lions have got 1 goal from their only win at a stoppage. So it becomes pivotal. Neutral ball now, both ends of the ground, got some space in them. Both got players in them, which is unusual. And it's those mistakes that kill you.
Jack Redden filthy on the call.
Let's have a look. He's got him. No, there's nothing in that.
Brushed him.
That's not a free kick.
So Montagna assesses it all.
Let's push forward.
Big Bruce pushed forward. Billings just released the handball. Saunders went to ground. And then
Pierce Hanley on.
He is on, and he's marked it. He's trotting forward now. Down for Brown. Delaney engaged. He did give away the free.
I thought the contact was a little bit early. And normally look after the defenders. Just see whether the ball was within 5 metres. Let's have a look.
It was high too.
Yeah, the left hand on the top as well. He could have had the same result by not being over-aggressive because the ball was always flying high. He just had the body a little bit subtly. Just a bit too aggressive there.
Crowd really coming to life here in Wellington.
Tagi's very, very best.
Surely not from
Probably
there.
hits the deck. They've got West down there, so it's the little fellas. It's the likes of Green.
Merritt there as well.
Taylor's another little nippy goal sneak.
Just wonder will he pop it to the top of the square.
You never want to write off Jonathan Brown. He decides to have a crack. He's kicked it out on the full. Scores remain dead set level.
I just think at this stage of the game, the percentage play was 15 metres out. You had West there and Merritt.
Wilt waited. Nunes hesitated. Zorko, he did well. Goes along to the wing. Stanley's got to go. He's in good marking form now. Perhaps could have drawn a free. Could have been one high on Aish. Umpire waved it all on. Merritt. Redden kicks it to the square. They've got the extra body down there. Did they touch it?
That's a goal.
Have some room, please.
Montagna's claiming the
goal.
touch.
I'd just like to check to see if it was touched. Score review.
Well, he's called a goal. If it's inconclusive, it'll be a goal.
We just want to check whether the ball was actually touched.
Oh, looks like Brown's touched it, if anyone has.
Yep.
I think Brown's touched it.
Yep, his finger goes back. Whether the ball made it go back or not, was it already bent?
Let's have a look. This angle here is better, Hutto. You just watch his left hand, right hand, sorry. Ooh.
Well, you have to say he probably touched it, but is probably enough.
There's a fingernail in it.
Umpire's call.
Goal.
So it's a goal.
Review completed. Umpire's call.
Well, it's a goal. It's inconclusive. You couldn't categorically say that Jonathan Brown touched it. You'd have to, if you're the goal umpire, if you heard it, you would say, well, it's probably touched. And if you didn't hear anything, the goal umpire, I think he's done the correct decision there because you'd hear the slippery ball come off the fingers.
Well, it shouldn't have been a shot anyway. I mean, they had this one covered. It was a missed opportunity by Reece Stanley. The tackle was there. Nice, smart handball over the top. And then they had the shorts. There was a 2-on-1 situation. This should have been better done. It was a great effort by Jonathan Brown to actually get Montagna off the line.
What about the second half of James Aish? It's been super.
He certainly looks at home in senior football at the highest level. Robertson took an age to get that moving. There's some tired bodies out there. Thrusting himself forward with Zorko. You could see Stevens kick. There was touch. Opportunity for Seb Ross, perhaps. A fumble from Patfull. Difficult for everyone to try and contain the footy. Gardner with exuberance. Let's not pay the initial free, so now he's going to be in trouble holding the ball.
Did he have prior opportunity? It was a terrific tackle, aggressive tackle. Ooh.
That's quick hands. No,
quick hands.
I mean, a prior opportunity is fine, but he was taken high. And you've got to protect the bloke going for the ball.
Gardner up to the wing. Hickey with the spoil, did the right thing. Robertson finding it hard to make his arms and legs work the way he wants them at the moment.
Good pressure.
Well, it's pretty pro St Kilda fan base here. Here's the high tackle. The first one was high, and then that one was really high.
Yep. That wasn't the view the umpire had, but
no, he must have been blocked because he would have been paid. They're paying plenty of free kicks tonight.
Over the back. Billings again.
The dribble kick. Wino won't be too happy with that.
When will they learn, Spud?
Jason Dunsall, you just run in and kick a drop punt over the goal umpire's head. I know it was in quick motion. We had time to steady.
Speechless.
Especially a greasy ball.
Speechless, but talented kid. Hits targets whenever he wants. Drop punt. Hit the goal umpire on the top of the head. They go back to square.
Oh, that's an outstanding mark. Trent West, higher than the rest. He's come up a little lame, I think. He's all right now.
But they feel as if they look as if they believe they can win this again, Brisbane. They were just sitting back on their laurels and just allowing the Saints to do what they wanted. That doesn't help. Making just too many little fundamental errors. They're keeping the Saints in this.
Dunstan to Stephen, and that's a powerful kick. And Curran's got himself loose, but he basically scomed himself.
Oh, the ball moved a lot through the air, though.
It was a real floater. There's nothing he could do with that. It was like a slips catch in the end with a slippery Sharon.
So West again finds himself with a footy at half back. Up onto the wing. And it's over and out again. We're down to the last 7.5 minutes. Gripping contest in Wellington. Here's the inside 50s for the quarter. 13-4.
The positive of Brisbane, though, they've kicked 2 goals with those 4 entries.
Stephen had that edge around the pack. The Saints, really since half-time, but particularly in this last quarter as we head downstairs. Baz?
Yeah, look, the Saints need to take a few risks now. I know there's still 7 minutes to go, but both teams have got to try and win it and not try and hold, try and save the game. So the Saints need Thurmad in. They need to try and get the ball moving.
I think they feel their guns like Rains, who's been in form, and Zorko, who haven't touched the ball so far. Get the ball into the hands of Taylor and Green. Get it inside 50.
Oh, Zorko, he went with it. Trusts his instincts. Kicks it deep to the square. Dempster's been doing that all night, and he's still doing it at the death.
He's played a great game.
Oh, he goes short. He's laced with danger, but it comes off. Geary, better release it. Zorko is putting the pressure onto a big one-on-one on the wing. Outnumbered out there was Jack Stephen. The Lions ganging up. Adcock with a releasing kick. High ball, everyone's a chance. Geary, Dempster, they kill it, but it's not dead. Mays, floating kick. What a kick from Mays, but it just stays on the wrong side. There's a goal in it now, Spud.
He was just the wrong side of the post. They're out here if Montana can play on.
Well, he can play on, but he was forced wide. And now back to Gwilt. So well played by the Lions. Good disciplines. Because the Saints are just about away.
You can switch it back to Dempster.
Decides not to. Down the long to Stanley and Revolt. And it is Stanley. They got the handball off to Jones, who controls it now. Mind changing all the time. It's Savage. Can he kick a big one? He can't. It's a minor, but it'll be handy. Not as handy as a goal, though.
14 inside 50s to Saints.
Well, that 2 or 3 running there, Spud, it could easily have been a shared ball.
Yeah.
But it's easier said than done. Under pressure, sees the big goals, goes through. Everybody's happy. It's all about conversion.
Adcock. In the hustle and bustle, Bruce brings it to ground.
It's half a win there for Brisbane if they get a ball up here, because it was a 3-on-1, that long kick.
And Mays over it. Hickey down to Jones. Tries to get it off to Hayes. In the end, it's dislodged. Aish back to Brown. No free kick either way, and it's over and out. So Good resolute defending by the Brisbane Lions.
Irrespective of the result for the Lions, though, the form of Aish has been really heartening, I think, to all their supporters.
Stephen for Hayes. He's got the line there. He's got Lions coming at him. And so the inevitable result was another boundary throw-in. Hickey's got Merritt, so he should be able to win the tap down here. No, Merritt does well. And the ball just comes gushing out the back. Great pickup from Ray. The kick not as good. Stanley is really digging deep, putting the pressure on Clark, but he had some good help coming from behind. And the angled kick up from Gardner, not perfect. Well done by Taylor. They're still got to work hard though.
Great play, Lions.
Cutler involved twice. Oh, the kick, half run down. It still falls for them. Green, plethora of options. Here's Robertson. He's on the cusp of the 50s. Crunch, holding the ball. And Revolt decides to just
go slow, which is
it was great pressure though. Look, it was really good play.
If they can get it through, Montagne's in the goal square on his own. I know it's a long way from here.
Tell you what, though, it was the best passage of play that the Lions have put together. Under pressure until that one, and maybe that's where the long kick just comes in.
Look, under pressure, he's trying to look for something perfect, but you're right, Jared, top of the square, but he was under extreme pressure.
So down the line, they've got some good tall timber here, and that's too easy really for Brisbane as far as St Kilda are concerned.
Whether Brisbane go through the corridor at this stage of the game.
So
they've manned it up well here, St Kilda. He's got to go long down the line. Jonathan Brown.
Oh, didn't look good off the boot. It's into about row 5. Apologies from Joel Patfull. So Savage with Brisbane's lead standing at 5. 4 minutes remaining.
And eventually they've got to go forward. With time so restricted now, they've got to take an option and go for the mark.
They had all the tall timber, the Saints. Hickey flew. It's another ball up.
Still bit zone. Big out, guys. Stay behind.
82 the Lions, 77 the Saints. Montagna deep for Stanley, out of position, got himself into the right spot, and he'll be happy, I think, to take it over because they are right within striking range now, the Saints. Who's going to have the right mindset, the right determination, and importantly make the right decision and then be able to execute in the 11th hour. Throw in, tap down from Revolt. Aish, they've got some numbers. Reigns, swing and a miss. Oh, it fell for Stephen. He misses too. And off Adcock, it's through for a minor score.
Great smother.
4 points now.
Great smother. Let's have another look. This is a horrible moment for Andrew Reigns, and he would have been absolutely delighted when he looked up and saw that one smothered by a teammate.
Oh, it falls for Stanley again. Into the pocket, tough kick.
Gee, hasn't the smother been important in this last few minutes?
No, the desperation for both teams.
Curran's kick that time, as you said, didn't hit the target. We are down to the last 3 minutes and 10.
Had the handball option, had to go sideways, give it to a spare player.
Hickey, again, lots of lines there. So there should be some extra Saints back here, but it's Bruce versus Brown. Does he take a chance? He does. He keeps it bubbling for the Saints. Delaney got it over.
Got to be desperate to get it on the other side of this ground, and down the middle he can go.
And it's Gwilt. Gets it deep. Will it be Stanley again from the side, Patfull? Anyone's footy still. Redden hurried away Merritt. Element of a risk about the kick. Lewis Taylor slung. Opportunity for Jimmy Webster. Quick kick, Ray. Again, could go anywhere. Stephen can't get a handle on it. Gwilt's come sweeping through. Can anyone handle it cleanly? In the slippery slide that is Wellington's Westpac Stadium. We've got 2 minutes 24 remaining. The head was down.
Bit stiff there, I think, the Saints.
He was.
Hickey gets it through. Ross. Stephen with a releasing kick. Again, Stanley had to dig. But couldn't. And the ball is over and out. And they are defending for their lives, the Brisbane Lions, at the moment. 2 minutes and 13, precarious position, hanging on to a 4-point lead. Boundary throw in. Who's going to have the energy to come charging through? Will it be a Saint? Will it be a Lion? Tap down from Merritt. Jones, head over the ball. Stephen eager for it. Jones, and it's over and out again. About 8 seconds wide from the clock, no more. Still, 4 points the difference. Jones has gone down. He's got cramp. He has to force himself to get. He can't move. So they're one down, the Saints. Throw in. Hickey onto the 50. Slapped away, Ray.
The ball's been here for the last 3 minutes.
Well, they've only got 114 seconds to keep it there, and they'll be happy. The Brisbane Lions, their first win of the year. The Saints, well, they can consolidate a spot in the 8 with this win.
Hickey slapped it down. Montagna couldn't get there. Aish been outstanding in the second half.
Second half. He's had 24 disposals for the game. 12 tackles. Sorry. 4 tackles. Zorko, 12 tackles, sorry.
A minute 47. And Redden did it well to Robertson, taking no chances. It's one-on-one there. Well done, Delaney.
Now Dempsey's cutting.
Through the middle goes Bruce. Cutting right across the outside. Webster, he takes them on 2. Can he hit a target? Stanley's been brilliant.
Ray over the back.
Falls for Farron Ray. Oh, he's missed. He's missed.
From dead in front. Opened up beautifully over the top. Look at the run over the back. Slipped off Stanley's hands. Fell beautifully for Farron Ray. Oh, well done, Daniel Merritt. It was actually Daniel Merritt's frontal pressure that forced the... Because it would have been a smother if he kicked the ball straight.
The last 70 seconds, the Saints have had some chances, but now it's the Lions' turn.
Gee, that was smart. That was so smart. You don't get any credit for that, but that was one of the smartest things that Jonathan Brown has done for a long while. Just deflected it over the line.
And so we have a throw in with a minute remaining. So
there's still time. There's still plenty of time.
Another opportunity for St Kilda. We're down to 55 seconds. They can't afford to waste another.
Where's Rewalt?
Is he? Oh, it's a free.
Oh, it's going to Brisbane. Well, they need an extra behind the ball here.
Go in, mate, go in.
The clock's... Oh, that's 50.
Oh, it's 50.
Oh, Savage, that's inexcusable to throw the ball from that area.
Well, that is just disastrous for St Kilda.
Well, you've got the experience, Adcock.
He just grabbed the man in front of him.
Well, all he needs is a long one down the line and a boundary throw in. Don't go into the corridor.
40 seconds remaining. Adcock went to ground as he kicked. Oh, that's a powerful grab in the air and a big statement from Tom Hickey.
Needs to try and get
late
the ball.
in the game. 28 seconds. Brisbane knows all about how you can steal a game in the last throws, but that's not going to help. Well, now Gwilt just has to kick it long, hoping that Revolt can will himself onto the footy. It slides out the back. Geary, Patfull went to ground. Oh, he's drawn a free. And that might be the telling free. They've had to travel to another country, the Brisbane Lions, to get their first victory of the season. And boy, did they have to work hard at the death, but they have held on to win by 3 points. 12-10, 82 to 11-13, 79. What could have been for the Saints and what is for the Lions. Despair for St Kilda. In the end, they just couldn't take the opportunities that they worked to get for themselves, Danny Frawley.
Well done to the Brisbane Lions and Justin Lepich. He's worked hard in the first 5 weeks. He's finally got his maiden win as a coach. And his young team learned from last Thursday week against the Richmond Football Club in their home ground. And they came over here. Not many people given the opportunity to win this game of football. The Saints had their best win of the season last week against Essendon. It just says there's got a long way to go and just the consistency of effort. The second half was good for the Saints, but when the game was there to be won, in the first half was Brisbane and the last 5 minutes.
Let's get down to Barry Hall.
Yeah, here with John O'Brien. Well, what a win in the end. Oh, it was, mate. Well, I can't believe after getting the 30 points out in front, but, we hung on there. It wasn't pretty our second half, but our pressure dropped away, which was a hallmark of our first half, but they were good. They took the game on and nearly got us in the end. Well, your start was fantastic. What was the main focus going into the game?
Well, I think we were just trying to get the ball a bit more in our forward half, and the main part to start with that is obviously pressure. So tackling pressure was huge early, and that helped set up the lead.
Well done tonight, mate.
Thanks, Pascal.
Geez, his little tap across the line killed about 30 seconds. It still didn't prevent the Saints having one last opportunity to kick the goal, but slippery ball and great defence by Merritt that made Farron Ray's kick have to go a little bit sideways, and there was an opportunity lost.
No, it certainly was, and as Jonathan Brown said, they hit the inside 50s with 57. That's their most for the season.
So the Brisbane Lions are on the board in season 2014. Great resilience they showed to get there. 12-10-82 over the Saints. 11-13-79. So the Brisbane Lions win by 3 points, and jubilation for the Lions. They've come to Wellington and they've got home Danny Frawley and Jared Healy. We saw a great contest in the end. It opened up as the night went on. There's a lot of tired boys out there, but I don't know how, but somehow they've hung on to win.
Well, and I'm thrilled for them, Hutto. It's a tough season when you go through with no victories, and they've been close a couple of times, but they just needed to get across the line, and whatever happened today was based on hard work. But the great thing for the Lions, Spud, they've got so many good young players. They're going to have some ups and they're going to have a lot of downs this year, but I think that they are collectively going to be able to build something with this group of youngsters, particularly Aish and Taylor and Mays and half a dozen others, Paparone, even the young bloke who got the tagging job last week and got it again this week will go back and learn a hell of a lot out of this victory. But Joey Montagna picked up the medal.
So he picks up the medal for best on ground, 37 disposals.
For the Wellington Council and for the Wellington people, putting on a great show. We really enjoy coming here and look forward to coming back next year. So thanks for having us. To our boys, keep your heads up. We'll go again next week. Thank you, Wellington. Cut. Well done, boys.
Unfortunately, they're yet to have a victory in front of
the curse.
It's not quite a curse. Not quite.